suffocates, whisper in the hall, where justice wears a mask and truth begins to fall. Every thread they pull, every lie they weave, in the courtroom's dance, who's left to believe? Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight. A photograph fades where the truth once stood. Blurred lines between the bad and the good. The scales they tilt with every silver tongue, while the broken cry for a song unsung. Black robes sway like shadows on the wall. One wrong word and the mighty fall. Who's the sinner? Who's the saint? The jury's out, but the verdict's faint. Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight.
Well, hello out there, everyone. Can you got yay? All right, everyone can hear me backstage. Welcome on in. Happy Sunday evening to one and all. I hope you guys have had a fantastic weekend. We will be continuing this evening our Kurt Cobain series. There's so much about this case that we had to expand it a little bit, and so we got more great stuff on the way. And a little later on tonight, we're gonna have a pretty exciting announcement. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, it's gonna be good stuff. So just going through here, looking at some names here. I see we got Phoenix Rising with us tonight. Good to see you, Lady G. We've got the Defense Rest, Jody in the house. Good to see you. And of course, our amazing mods. We have Pennywise, Amanda B, and Essie Michael. So thank you to you. Thanks to all the mods on all three channels. That's right. Yeah, we got almost the whole panel outside of the boss man here tonight. And for those of you who don't know, Lee takes Sundays off, and of course, it's the Super Bowl. So we are thankful to whoever shows up tonight. And if you don't catch it live, you can always watch on the replay. And we appreciate our replay crew just as much as we do the folks who come out and hang out live with us. So, but okay, we got, oh, Bianca, good to see you over on Logan's side from Bronx Tales. So that's right. Yeah, we have Logan from Bronx Tales backstage. We've got Dago from True Crime Cafe, and we've got one, of course, our favorite vampire, and of course, the amazing JJ from State of the Deep. So I'm going to go ahead and just start bringing everyone up. I'm going to go ahead and DA likes to bring up whoever was backstage first. So that would be the amazing Miss Logan here. Hello, how are you?
I'm excellent. How are you? I was like, Super Bowl Cobain. Oh, I know where I'm going tonight. Cobain is where
Well,
it's
we
at, baby.
are we are thrilled to have you with us as always. So I was so glad. I was so tickled today when you said that you were going to be able to make it. I was, yay.
Yes, I
So
slept most of the day yesterday trying to recover from a migraine, but so I was up all night last night just looking up Cobain stuff, and I got really into it, and he's an
nice.
icon, so I'm excited for tonight's episode.
Yeah. Yeah. He truly one of a kind. That's for sure.
Man.
So, but yeah, we missed you yesterday, but I'm glad you're feeling better today. So that's
Oh yeah.
wonderful. So, all right. And then next we had ta-da, Sir Dego. How
Forget
are you?
about it. I'm good. How are ya?
All
Good to see
righty.
everybody. Good to see you, Logan. Thank you for joining us again tonight.
Hello, hello.
Hope everybody's having a
Yeah.
great weekend so far. And go Seahawks, go Seahawks, go Seahawks. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I hate the
Oh,
Patriots so bad.
yeah.
But good to see everybody. Thank you
Likewise.
guys for joining us. Part 5, as I listed it on my side of things, Soaked in Lies. What really happened with Kurt Cobain, guys, that we're really getting into this. And again, like Robin said, I'm excited for this. There's going to be an exciting announcement at the end of this tonight before we get out of here. I can't wait to hear that again, guys. You guys
Yepper.
remember that.
Yepper. It's exciting stuff. So,
Yes.
all right. I'm gonna bring up Mr. JJ. How are you tonight? State of the Deep.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? What's up, denizens? What's up, meatballs? And hello to the mods.
Bros and hoes.
Yeah.
What
Bros
up?
and hoes. That's right. Bros and hoes. Oh. So, how was your day today, JJ?
Ah, it was good, you know. I played last night, so I slept in today, which I never do, but I was up late last night and I had coffee right before I went to my gig,
Oh
which I
boy.
shouldn't have done. So afterwards, I was still wired after I got home and I couldn't go to sleep. So I was up kind of late and I slept in, which like I said, I never do. I just got some stuff done today. Went to the gym, the usual stuff.
Nice.
What kind of
Nice.
stuff do
Nice.
you throw on your set list there, JJ? Just a mixture of stuff, or do you got your own stuff?
Um, I I have some of my own stuff, but it's just like bar gigs, so just mainly doing covers and stuff. I mean, I
Covers.
go anywhere from some old school country to classic rock to some grunge.
Hell yeah.
I play some of that, some like Alice in Chains. I play just a bunch of different stuff. A lot of
Nice.
some
I'm a,
like Bob Dylan,
there you go.
a lot, all kinds, really
I'm
eclectic.
a huge Chains fan. Huge. So,
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite bands of all time.
same here. Same here.
All
Sorry,
right. Cool
sorry.
beans. That's all right.
Yeah, I
Okay,
just
I'm
thought
gonna go
wanted
ahead.
to
I'll
ask
bring
you
up
that.
Mr. 1-1 to the stage. Hello, sir.
One in a
Hello,
house.
hello. How is
What's up
everyone?
with you?
What's up, one?
Good to see you, buddy.
Good.
You and Mr. Snow.
Recovering from dust allergies. I was like, felt like I was dying all day, but I'm good now.
Well,
Nice.
we're glad of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, what is on your head?
Well, since it's like 0 degrees outside, and I gotta keep the kids entertained. So here's the
Well,
happy winter wonderland.
that
Father of the
that
year.
is true, man. Oh,
always,
not
always
fun.
working.
Yeah. All righty. Well, I'll tell you, if you want to go ahead and read us in, then we can
Sure, I'll
get
read us
on the
in.
go here.
Yes. So before I even read us in, a shout out to, I don't know if she is in Cat's Mojo. I know some people are watching the Super Bowl. I don't know why, but
Me either.
we're more important.
We are.
But
Yeah.
I guess Cat's Mojo, if you watch this, they sent me like a plethora of information on Epstein, like all kinds of like pictures and documents, crazy stuff. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Nice.
And a quick shout out to the Defense Rest. I was also pretty into the Karen Reed trial, and that that video that you sent us or pointed us to from, what was it, case analysis, I think?
Crime.
Yeah, I
Crime
think
analysis.
that's
No,
what
I'm
it is.
sorry. Crime analysis.
Yeah.
Crazy. isn't it?
Amazing. Amazing.
Yes,
Like,
it hits the nail right on the head.
yeah. Anyway, is it good to be alive in the den on
Always.
Sunday night?
Oh yeah.
Love you, Jackson, Juliana, and of course, my beautiful wife. The lights are low tonight. The room is quiet. And the truth, whatever it is, still hasn't learned how to stay buried. This is Devil's Advocates, where we don't tell you what to think. We ask the questions others won't touch. Tonight, we step into the wreckage left behind by a voice that defined a generation, a sound that screamed pain through distortion, honesty through chaos, and despair through melody. Kurt Cobain, officially. The story has always been simple, too simple. A troubled artist, a history of addiction, a shotgun, a note, case closed. But when you slow it down, when you actually read the reports, when you listen to the people who were there, when you examine the timelines, the handwriting, the forensics, the missing fingerprints, the unanswered phone calls, the narrative starts to crack. Kurt Cobain wasn't just a rock star, he was a commodity, a symbol, a man surrounded by money, contracts, control, and pressure. Pressure that didn't end when the music stopped. And standing at the center of that storm was one of the most polarizing figures in music history, Courtney Love. This episode is not about declaring guilt. It's about examining possibility. The questions refuse to go away. Why did the handwriting in the so-called suicide note appear inconsistent, especially in the final lines? Why were no clear fingerprints found on the weapon? Why did certain statements from close associates change over time? Why did private investigators raise alarms that were later dismissed? And why was Kurt reportedly planning major life changes just days before his death? If this was truly suicide, why does so much of the evidence still feel unfinished? This is where Devil's Advocates lives, between official conclusions and unresolved facts. We're not here to rewrite history, we're here to re-examine it. Because when millions of dollars are involved, when control, custody, legacy, and power are on the line, truth doesn't always come first. Sometimes it comes last. Welcome to Devil's Advocates. And with that, live from New York, it's Sunday night.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Yes.
Cool. Now I gotta say something. We here on panel are quite the musical group. Logan, I believe you said you play piano, correct?
Yep. Play piano since I was 6 and read music and all that good stuff.
Nice. Dago, you're a drummer.
And a bass player and a piano player as well.
There you go. JJ, what all do you play?
I sing and play guitar. I play some bass. Played some drums
Okay.
as a kid. I don't
All
play
right.
piano, but I love to sit at the keyboard and fake it.
I do vocals too, but that's not my.
And I'm a singer and I play, just unless you're into brass instruments, trombone and baritone. I used to play
Nice.
that. So now, one, do you play any
No.
instruments or anything?
No music. No music.
Play the mouth
Instruments here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could play.
But
I could play the cymbal or something.
okay, okay, there you go. We
He
One
does.
on the tambourine.
One does the foot stomp.
well, we should have a band. One could rap. Maybe he could
can
rap
play-
with his accent. Hey, what the hell?
You can play the noise in a cherry. We'll call it that. You can put the siren on and off, and the lights going. There you go. You can do the light.
There you go. Hey,
Well,
Oh my God.
Phoenix is in the chat, and she's a musician too. And I know that I've seen some other people in the chat bring up playing music and stuff too over the many different streams we've done. So you never
I wonder
know. There could be a band in the making.
I wonder if there's any
Would it-
connection with being into, like looking at things differently and not believing just what mainstream media
I
is
believe it.
and the side of your brain where you're musically inclined. Who knows?
I believe
Possible.
it. I believe it. I think
Yeah.
it definitely could be, could be a correlation there. Definitely.
be.
So
I've always been more of
yeah,
a
so-
right brain kind of guy. I'm not a good. I was abysmal with math and things like that, which are
Same here.
apparently
Same.
left brain things. I was always good with like art and I was
Yep.
musical at a young age, and
I'm the
I was-
opposite. I'm the complete opposite.
Same here.
Math. I went to I went to school. I went to college for math. So
Oh,
I actually have a
man.
degree in mathematics.
I have
1-1 by
nightmares
left
about
brain.
that shit.
Well, if I really need to do math, I'll just point at you and be like, 1-1, help me out here.
Yeah.
Oh,
So was I, Phoenix. Don't feel bad.
yeah. It's not everyone is good at math. I had a professor who just pushed me through my college class. He's like, "You're never going to get this." I said, "Thank you, sir.
Oh God.
It's all good. I'll take my C with pride."
If you went to some of the math courses that I had to take in college, some of the higher classes, they're not. You wouldn't probably even consider them math courses. It's all like
Probably not.
It's all like theory based, all number. It almost like has nothing to do with math, but like
Yeah,
it-
I had to take stuff in college, to meet certain requirements. I had to take
right, because you were psyched, right?
statistics
Yeah,
and
yeah.
quantitative methods and stuff. And I was able to do well but it was not easy. Those were
Yeah.
not easy classes for me.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
to work really hard at those.
Yep. Not my idea of fun. So,
Mm-mm.
but anywho, all right.
All right.
1-1. I believe you have
Sure.
some stuff
All
for
right.
us.
All right, so the outlook tonight, I'm gonna try not to take too long, although that's probably a laugh, but no, I will not. I will go through, finish up the timeline of where we left off. So for those of you who did not watch last week's show, so the last few weeks we figured we'd try to cover stuff following the timeline instead of jumping all over the place. There are specific things that we are going to focus on, down the line or upcoming. So where we left off was kind of, Kurt goes missing. He flies, he sees Callie and Courtney's whatever you want to call them, buddies there in Seattle, and then we have some confirmation of certain places where he's seen, and I guess we kind of ended off right where we were basically, I believe, I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong.
I missed
Pedro,
that.
but I
I don't remember.
oh yeah, that's right. So basically we left off, I think, Robin, right, where we were saying that how Courtney, eventually she files that he's, Kurt is missing and all this, but he
Right.
really wasn't. She knew where he was.
Right.
Maybe not like a direct location, but she knew she was in contact with Callie,
Right. Callie and Jessica,
Jessica,
So-
right, from the house. So
who had seen him.
right. So she kind of knew that he was going to the Aurora strip there. It's a 20-mile strip where my understanding, I guess, there's a lot of drugs and a lot of stuff going on. And of course, she's like keeping, Tom, her private investigator, at basically, she's kind of keeping him on a leash a bit. Like she's he wants to actually go to fly out there, but she won't pay for it. And this,
No.
this is they have millions of dollars, tons of money, but she won't. He's not going to pay for it. She won't pay for it, and she also, she starts creating these lies like, oh, Kurt likes to stay at these, these lavish, wealthy hotels, and he didn't. It was anything but the truth, and she knew that. She knew this. She knew most likely where he was going to hang out, where he was going to be, and so just kind of showing that. So that's kind of where we leave off. So I guess I'll start here. I don't believe Kurt Cobain committed suicide. He probably had someone else with him in the room, probably someone that he knew, or not, but they were probably doing heroin together. I do believe he relapsed. I do think there's evidence. I think he was trying to get clean. I do. His daughter, all the evidence we have looks like he really was trying to get clean for his daughter, and seemed to be really important to him. And he was getting away from Courtney. That was in the works. So I guess at a certain point, obviously, from what we know, more heroin was injected into Kurt Cobain than he possibly that he wanted. And then we get, so how do we have the evidence backing up, like, why is this a conspiracy? Well, it wasn't really too much re-investigated, right? I know there was one detective later on, which he really didn't do too much, right? He wouldn't reevaluate most of the photos,
Right.
release them. I think it just seemed like he was like going through the motions, like, yeah, he reinvestigated it, but it didn't seem that he really did much. So why did nothing happen? How could something like this be and such a credible, how could this happen? But I guess you could see, this is the same thing. You can correlate this to other cases we cover, like, the Long Island serial killer. Why is it so difficult to get that Shannon Gilbert, did not drown? Like, why they keep saying that she drowned when we have evidence that, it looks like it's possibly a homicide, or at least her official autopsy, right, should say that, unknown or whatever they, at least it, should be investigated. So again, like, seems like the Seattle Police Department has full authority, and no one seems to really be stepping in. So the FBI, I could step in, right? But it's going to take someone high up, obviously, to really make a difference.
Right.
But the case is not going away, and hopefully along the line there'll be someone high up that has some kind of conscience or that wants to do the right thing. So it's important that we keep talking about the case so it doesn't it just disappear. It could be 20, 30 years from now, Courtney Love, Callie DeWitt, Jessica Hopper, and Dylan Carlson, all these people could be long gone before anything, ever happens. But it's still important. Still important that we get there.
Which is why we all do what we do to,
Right.
keep these cases in the public eye, and to bring hopefully the truth to light at some point, and hopefully not in the too distant future.
Right. So right now it's all about pride. They do not want to admit that they were wrong and that there was corruption going on in the Seattle Police Department. So we're gonna stick kind of to the timeline when we get to April 5th, 1994. So right where we left off, that's right where we were kind of. So we were on April 4th. We talked about Jessica Hopper and Callie DeWitt's conflicting stories, and we talked about Jessica being questioned. You know, so now we'll move forward to the next day. We know Kurt Cobain dies. Whether he really did take his own life, or whether you think he took his own life, or think someone did it, or whether maybe you think it was assisted kind of suicide. We lost probably one of the, most genius singer songwriters of all time on April 5th, 1994. So now we're here on April 5th. Tom Grant, he notes something peculiar. It doesn't specifically prove anything, but it raises suspicion. So that is how quiet Courtney Love is being. So over the last 2 days, April 3rd and April 4th, he had been in constant contact with Courtney Love, and whether it be by phone or whether he was sitting in her hotel room at the Peninsula. Suddenly, on April 5th, not only has Courtney not contacted him, he can't even get her to return phone calls. And he ends up going to her hotel room to talk with her because he can't get a hold of her. So, what was Courtney doing on April 5th, the same day that Kurt Cobain is said to have died? So, it's estimated that he died in the early morning and maybe sunrise. So, it's interesting. So then from Cobain's death, maybe something good can come from his death in the future. We will see. But at this time, so he dies, right? So then what we know, Courtney is actually showing his suicide note to fans, talking to people, weeping, crying, lighting candles. For those, if you go back and look at some of the news and stuff that was going on, it was like one of the most extraordinary public displays of grief you'll ever see in your life. It was like way over the top. But what do we know Courtney was up to that day? So she sent Eric Erlandson to Lake Washington House to look for Kurt. I don't know if did you want to jump in, Dago, or anyone? Just to say where I just know a basic thing, but enough just
You're
so if
muted,
people.
Dago.
Yeah, I can jump in there real quick. Eric Erlandson. By the way, Eric Erlandson was Courtney Love's guitar player with the band Hole. There's rumors floating around about Eric. He's been with. I'll explain who he is to you guys here real quick here in 1 second. I'm sorry, I was trying to move something around.
That's okay.
He played. I believe it was lead.
Yeah, he's a lead guitarist
for Hole. I didn't pay much attention to him. I know about him, but I didn't because I couldn't stand Hole. So it is what it is. But Eric Theodore Erlandson, he was born January 9th of 1963. He's an American music guitarist and writer, primarily known as the founding member, songwriter, and lead guitarist of alternative rock band Hole. Okay. Once again, Courtney couldn't do shit for herself. Everybody else had to do it for her. Here's another perfect example, as always. Okay. You guys know I hate Courtney, so please bear with me. So yeah, every time I talk about her, I feel like I want to just anyway. So moving on. And he was with Hole, I'm sorry, from 1989 through 2002. He also had several other musical side projects going on, including Rodney and the Tube Tops, which he formed with Thurston Moore from the band Sonic Youth. Actually a great band. Let's see, Ricey with Vincent Gallo, and he published a poetry and prose book entitled Letters to Kurt in 2012, which was all about, it was basically an ode to Kurt Cobain, and I think it was guilt. The whole thing was written out of guilt, in my opinion. I'll just be honest with you guys. I think he felt by writing that to Kurt that it would basically make him forgiven in the world for the things that he said and did, and he was because Courtney is who she was. was sleeping with this gentleman as well, like she was with everybody else in fucking America, in my opinion, because she was not a good person. So anyway, he studied economics with a minor in marketing at Loyola Marymount University, where his father, Theodore Erlandson, served as the dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences and earned a Bachelor of Science degree. In the late 80s, Erlandson was working as an accountant for Capitol Records, where he managed Paul McCartney's, Tina Turner's, and various other artists' royalties. In 1988, Erlandson traveled to Europe for a number of months trying to decide what he wanted to do with his life, and of all things to do. In 89, he responded to an advertisement placed by Courtney in The Recycler, a local classified ad paper. Erlandson described the band's first rehearsal session, which featured original bassist Lisa Roberts, as follows. These two girls showed up dressed completely crazy. We sat up and they said, okay, just start playing something. I started playing and they started screaming at the top of their lungs for 2 or 3 hours. Crazy lyrics and screaming. I said to myself, most people would run or just run from this really fast, but I heard something in Courtney's voice and lyrics. The band's first album, Pretty on the Inside, was released in September of 91 to positive reception from underground critics, branded loud, ugly, and deliberately shocking. Very good call for that. And earned a spot on Spin's 20 Best Albums of the Year list. It was also voted Album of the Year by New York's Village Voice and peaked at number 59 on the UK album charts. The album spawned one single, Teenage Horror. Very fitting, which entered the UK indie chart at number 1. Erlandson and Love began writing new material for a second whole album in 92. And what that truly means is Erlandson was writing this and she was saying, yes, I like it, or no, I don't. She was so fucking talentless, folks, I'm telling you. So anything that anybody gives any credit to her for, I'm going to take it back from her. Just telling you.
So
Yeah. Rightfully.
Right.
So moving forward, the band embarked on a worldwide tour throughout late 94, which we all know what year that was and what the big deal was for that year. For the duration of 95, with appearances at the KROQ Almost Acoustic Christmas, Saturday Night Live, The Big Day Out Festival, MTV Unplugged 95, Reading Festival, Lollapalooza 95, and at the MTV Music Video Awards, where they were nominated for the Doll Parts music video. Once again, recorded over a 10-month period, Hole's third studio album, Celebrity Skin, from 98, adopted a complete new sound for the band, incorporating elements of power pop, and had love-drawing influences from Fleetwood Mac and My Bloody Valentine. So, this is all stuff about what Erlandson did with Hole, basically, for you guys to understand. Okay, I'm not going to jump through all. There's a lot.
Yeah. We just, we wanted you to understand who he was.
So, in I guess jumping up to 2009, he started to do like a what the hell do you call it? Like a reunion album with Hole. And something fell through with that, thank the Lord, and so on and so forth. But Erlandson's practiced Nichiren Shiosho Buddhism since 1992. During his tenure in Hole in the 90s, Erlandson was romantically involved with the bassist Kristen Pfaff, we all know that, until her death in June of 94. Truly, and this is my opinion, of course, because of the things I saw, it was because he wouldn't leave her alone. She was not that interested in him, but he would not leave it go. And we all know, and we'll get into it more, the story behind Kristen Pfaff, and what we believe that how she takes place within this story, okay?
Yeah, so, we're going to get there.
Moving forward, that is Mr. Erlandson. Basically, he would do whatever Courtney wanted him to do, just like everybody else that Courtney had her claws into. Go do this, go do that. And she was, that's what her thing was, folks. She led people around. She was a manipulator, like a very good manipulator too, horribly. And so she set him to go look for Kurt. Even though I do believe she was pretty sure where Kurt was. She knew the whole thing, guys. You'll find that out. But it is what it is. But that's who Eric is and what she had, the part that she put him into this situation for, in my opinion. I'll just say that. So there you go.
Thanks, Dago. And Bianca Jane, you gifted 5 memberships to Bronx Tales. Thank you
Thank you,
very much.
Bianca. We love you so much.
Awesome, Bianca.
Our new turtles over here.
All right, so we got a whole bio on Mr. Eric there.
I
So
think the
the-
only talent
Yeah.
that Courtney Love has is being a super manipulator.
Yeah, she's very
Yes.
good at that.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
super
Yes.
good at it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
her own
scarily so.
father said she was a hustler.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be like
Young
that,
age.
you have to have that manipulation side.
Yes.
Right. I have a side. I have a funny comment with that actually, JJ. I think it was American Spy Fox. I think he showed it in his thing or he talked about it. So he actually did some kind of interview with Courtney Love's father, and
Yes.
what Courtney Love's father actually said, if her name appears in something or she's involved in something, it's because she wanted it to be involved. So
Yeah. He said it's not
yeah,
by accident.
I just listened to that
Right.
today. He said because
Yes.
he asked him about the Epstein files.
Yeah.
You know, her father
Yeah.
Hank, and
Yeah.
he was like, he's like, oh man, if she was in that, it was intentional. He's like, she was
Yep.
a hustler.
And she's in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, her name has shown up in the files, folks. So surprise, surprise, fucking surprise. I know nobody is. I'm not.
All
surprised.
right. So back to the timeline here. So now, what's interesting and something that Tom Grant and the rest of the world, the rest of us, only we find out much later when we were talking about Eric, that Courtney had sent Eric. If you knew that Callie, so to think about it, if you knew Callie and Jessica were right there, right? Jessica doesn't leave until the 6th. Callie doesn't leave until the 7th. Why would you send a third person?
Well, not to mention, Dylan was there too. Okay.
Yeah.
Dylan was, and Courtney knew where Dylan was almost all the time. So understand that plays a big part in where we're headed.
Yeah. Yeah. So she tells Tom, Callie will tell me if Kurt comes around. This is where things get a little confusing, by the way. Kristen Pfaff, Courtney's bassist, who ended up dead of a drug overdose, a supposed drug overdose, only 2 months after Kurt. The last person to see her was Eric Erlandson that we just were talking about. So not only supposedly was Eric Erlandson present on April 5th, the day we know Kurt died, he's also present on the evening before Kristen Pfaff is found. A little interesting, somewhat interesting, right? Erlandson had dated Courtney. He was in love with Courtney. Courtney had left Erlandson for Billy Corgan. We know who Billy Corgan is.
Lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah.
Smashing Pumpkins, who in turn left him for Kurt Cobain. Erlandson becomes romantically involved with Kristen Pfaff, who later says she only got with him because he was the only dude that she knew when she moved to Seattle to start playing with the band Hole. And she felt lonely, and guess what? It's noticed by everyone in the inner circle that Kurt and Kristen Pfaff are giving each other eyes constantly. A quote from Courtney Love to Kristen Pfaff. She says, "You fucked my guitar player, constantly make eyes at my husband, and now you're telling me how to sing. Just don't fuck with me because you'll regret it forever." So
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kurt. Now this is a big. Kurt gives her one of his favorite books. His favorite book. He buys her a copy of Patrick Susskind's Perfume, gives it to her as a present. This infuriates Courtney, who knows that she will see Kristen was a studied musician. She actually studied music. Courtney, as all we can tell, just banged on her guitar and played power chords. She basically was not a musician at all. That's why she was attracted to punk rock. it doesn't take a whole lot of talent if you can make a whole lot of noise. Kurt and Kristen, where if you can look at, are like way up here. She's down here. She's, you know,
yes.
Courtney Love's musicianship was way down there alongside Eric Erlandson. Courtney Love knew she could never be Kristen Pfaff. So one more thing of note, when Live Through This comes out the week after Kurt's death, all the reviews are pointed toward Kristen, saying, "Oh, who's that new bassist? Have you heard her? You know, they like the backup vocals. You know, she was getting like a lot of notice. She gives the whole, you know, the band a whole new sound. And their only album that really got any mainstream attention. Everybody was crediting Kristen Pfaff, not Courtney Love, the singer of the band, the front woman of the band. So, you know, by judging Courtney's personality her entire life, wanting nothing more but the spotlight to be on her and what a great musician she was, that spotlight shifted a little bit to her right, to her bassist. And this is a big problem. Add to this that it was rumored that they had spent nights together at one of the cabins in Carnation, Washington. Dylan Carlson later reveals that Kurt had told him what a beautiful, talented musician that Kurt thought Kristen Pfaff was. And we're going to learn a little bit as I get into it. Dylan speaks to Courtney behind Kurt's back and even takes commands from Courtney. So again, as I believe we said I know you weren't here last week, Dago. We call Courtney the puppet master. She's got all these people under her. She's like the really big puppet master.
That's what she did.
So it doesn't surprise me that she was involved, knowing her predilection for kind of manipulating, especially young, impressionable people who were attracted to her money and power. It doesn't really surprise me that she's listed in Epstein's files. So, so there's that.
Not even a little bit.
I think
One thing,
of how
one about.
Go
Sorry,
ahead, JJ.
go ahead, Logan.
Go ahead, JJ.
I was just gonna say, Kristen Pfaff told Courtney, "Don't wear your guitar like a necklace," because Courtney would just stand there with the guitar hanging low. She was trying to encourage her to actually
play it, hold it the right way. Yeah,
and actually work at playing.
Right,
you know?
right.
Chris, thank you, JJ, for pulling that up real fast. And then I want Logan to say what she was going to say, but Kristen Pfaff made a statement one time. I read it in a book a long time ago. She said it's a guitar is an instrument of art, okay? And it should be treated as such. And that right there, what he just said, is what she was referring to. Courtney Love thought she was fucking Sid Vicious from Sex Pistols, okay? That's what she did. She beat on a scream yell. She didn't give a shit about the guitar, the instrument itself, and what it could actually do, because she had no talent, like I told you guys. So,
right.
There in turn. So that's JJ made a really good point with that, because that's an absolute fact and something that she wrote in an article a long time back. So sorry about that. Go ahead, Logan.
What I was gonna say is, think of how psychotic one human being has to be to take all these multiples of people and find out really quickly what makes them tick, to get inside their brain, to manipulate them, and you're doing it person after person after person. How quick and good she had to be at, I mean, that's a high level of manipulation. That's a psychotic level.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Like I said, that's the only thing she was good at. And she was very good at that, very badly, but she used it in the wrong way. If you were able to use manipulation tactics in a good way, she'd have been amazing as a person, but she's such a bad person that she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it.
Right. So now we got Kurt had confided in Dylan as a friend, saying he had a crush on Courtney's bassist. If she ever finds out, she'll kill me. Keep this between us. Erlandson was jealous of Kurt Cobain. Not only one woman had basically left him and ended up with Kurt, but here's a second woman leaving him, making eyes at Kurt. Eric Erlandson never stopped trying to be with Kristen. it got to the point where she literally had to tell him that she was quitting the band. Leave me the fuck alone. Courtney Love was facing a divorce from Kurt Cobain, right? As we know. So not only do you have these jealousies of the two people that Eric and Courtney want to be with, don't want to be with them, they also want to be with each other. How many times has love and money been a motive for murder? And he was present at both deaths. Again, this just for, we're not saying that this is what happened, but just for frame of mind here.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Erlandson is so unattractive, just for the record.
So is Courtney. Figure that out.
Yeah.
They look alike, actually.
So if I had to point fingers here, I would point fingers at Eric. Kurt Cobain was a better guitarist than Eric, which is what he wanted to be. He was a better singer-songwriter. Kurt Cobain got all the women that Eric wanted, all the fame that Eric wanted. And Courtney Love, looking at her, Kristen was a better guitarist. A better singer was becoming more famous than Courtney. When their album Live Through This comes out, all the articles are starting to be written about Kristen. And guess what? Kristen's the one woman that Kurt Cobain wants. Eric and Courtney can never top Kristen and Kurt. They're never going to be better than them. And you can basically think they become panicked when they finally realize that these people they're obsessing over not only don't want to be with them, but they want to be with each other. They realize what it's going to do to their careers and their pockets. They can no longer ride Kurt Cobain's coattails. Kristen will more than likely move beyond Courtney's stature because she can actually play guitar and she can actually sing.
And right.
It's going to make Courtney and Eric nothing but a side note in the history of rock and roll. They realize that if Kurt dies before it's publicly known that a divorce was coming, that he was moving on to another relationship, he will die with everybody thinking he loved them and thought of them as amazing fellow musicians. Not only that, Courtney Love becomes executor of the Cobain estate because he dies before he can get to his attorney, Rosemary Carroll, and sign his new will, in which supposedly he had asked her to remove Courtney Love's name. There's a little discrepancy with that because some people are saying that. So I know from Soaked in Bleach, they say that Rosemary tells Tom Grant that Kurt had called her from Rome asking for the removal of Courtney Love from his will. But it turns out that might not be completely accurate, or maybe it got distorted a bit. But either way, I think it's something that we can all believe that Kurt Cobain, whether he was either removing her from his will or he had never made a will. And if he never made a will, what would that tell you? That means he's not intending on committing suicide. He wants to get his life together. He wants to be with his daughter. Sure, he had this constant addiction that he's fighting, but just because he has a battle with addiction doesn't mean he wants to kill himself. All the signs that I see, it looks like he was trying to get clean. It really was.
Yeah.
And there's a rumor. The rumor is with that whole thing that you just said, the discrepancy. I believe that he had contacted the attorney from Rome and said, please, I'm leaving her. I need you to remove her from my will. Because he did have a living will, from my understanding, what I read a long time back. The problem with this is all of those statements that were put out, Courtney has fought against everything that has been put out that points to her being a malicious person, that points to Kurt not wanting to be with her, that points to Kurt divorcing her. Everything that was ever put out, she's fought against that the whole time. She's taken people's statements down legally because of that, because she wants everybody to believe that Kurt was so in love with her and they were such a happy family, blah, 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 blah. So that's where the discrepancy comes into play with that, and it's always been a problem.
Right.
And it always will be as long as she keeps fighting that shit. So I just wanted to throw that little tail in.
So I don't think Kurt planned on dying anytime soon. The evidence that we have, and his love and how he cared for his daughter, I think, is the evidence of that. And he wanted Rosemary to make sure that Courtney wouldn't get his stuff. He wanted his stuff to go to his daughter, who we know later on had a whole, Courtney like stole money right from her estate, and there's a whole big thing with that. Right. And I believe the daughter she like emancipated herself.
Yep. I think she was 16. I think.
It's not. I believe so. So
yeah, when she was emancipated. Yeah.
It's best, that they just go away with everybody thinking everything was fine. Then for them to suffer the humiliation of the rejection. If Kurt Cobain would have publicly rejected these people would have forgot their names in a heartbeat. Imagine the headlines if Kurt and Courtney's divorce went through. So you really have to think about that. Like obviously we know them so well now because of everything that happened. And Courtney was in, I know, a few movies and a few different things, but she had no music talent. And if Kurt is, Kurt, obviously he's the golden goose, and Faf had her own. She was talented, and probably would have, gone on to bigger and better things. So
I think her and him would have ended up together. I think they would have. Yep. I've always said that if Courtney wouldn't have done what she did and just left them alone, that Faf and Cobain would have ended up together. Probably been an amazing family unit, probably been an amazing musical unit that could have started their own thing together. All of that shit would have been amazing in my opinion. But the manipulator, the devil herself, saw what was coming and could not let it happen, folks. That's my opinion.
So apparently, I'm sure you guys have all heard this, but Kurt wanted to be in a band with her.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
He respected her. Yeah. He respected her as a musician.
He was leaving Nirvana, and I think that was the next step, JJ. I truly do.
You're probably right.
For anybody who might not know that much background about Kristen Pfaff, she was a very dynamic person.
Very much so.
She struggled with drugs, like many musicians do.
Right.
But she was, a trained musician. She was an athlete when she was growing up. She was a straight A student. She was like a very strong and talented woman, which, as you can imagine, Dago, I don't want to get him too fired up, but that would drive Courtney crazy.
It does. It did. That's why I'm telling you guys. And it's fact. It's she was everything. Kristen Pfaff was everything Courtney never was, never could be, never would be. And Courtney knew that, okay, and saw the threat literally right in front of her face. Her husband wanted to be with her. Her husband wanted to work with her. Her husband was just as good as her. And Courtney was none of those things. And she knew that, guys. So the jealousy level, it goes beyond something that you can imagine. And that should tell you right there. Okay?
Right.
When a manipulative person such as herself sees a threat in front of her that she knows is like a wall, that she has to get over that wall to get anywhere she wants to get. What do you do with that wall? You tear it down.
Right.
Absolutely.
And Dave Grohl knew this too, okay? Dave Grohl knew about this whole thing. He knew. That's another thing. That's why Dave Grohl would never speak on this, because he knows and knew a lot of what was going on in the background and so on and so forth. There were conversations had, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. So it is what it is, guys. Just take that to heart.
Yep.
I see we got a donation for $4.99.
I'm not sure what side it's on.
I don't know. Who is that?
Frat Boy.
Whoever. I know, but is it? I don't know who it's.
I think that's
Logan's.
Okay. Thank you for donating. We appreciate you.
Yeah, so generous.
Okay, so to continue here. So Kristen hooks up with Kurt, and then the headlines say Kristen leaves Eric, Kurt leaves Courtney, and now they're together. this power duo of actual professional musicians, Courtney and Eric, would have been a side note in the music and rock history. I don't even know if they would have been considered even a side note. It would have been Kurt and Kristen. Courtney knows that by Kurt dying, she becomes the executor of the Cobain estate, which she did. She gains the publishing rights to Nirvana, and she will actually ends up selling she winds up selling the rights after she gains them, which is a whole nother thing. But
And she took Dave to court too, and she would to shut him down.
Yeah.
He had to sign an NDA. All of that stuff. Like she took full control over. I'm pretty sure from what I read, she took full control over everything Nirvana owned. And then, like you said, sold it off, which, like you said, is a whole other story. But she took Dave to court because I think Dave wanted to talk about some of these things. And she threatened him and said, I will take everything from you if you do this. Took him to court, shut him down, blah, 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 blah. So that's another reason why he won't talk about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now she controls the DGC. Instead of Kurt being in control of his music, Courtney's in control of his music. So DGC, David Geffen, has to basically kiss her ass.
Yep.
Not Kurt's. So Eric and Courtney had the most to gain and the most to lose. Both of these people were. It doesn't mean other people weren't involved or not talking about anyone else, but I believe these two people had the most to gain and the most to lose. So now we continue along the timeline here. So we know Courtney sends Erlandson, and he is like a lovesick puppy. He'll do anything she says to look for her husband, and then he's quite jealous over the same day he dies. So yes, Kristen Pfaff is Kurt's admirer, but right now, Courtney sends Eric to the house. Later, when Tom finds out, the private investigator, he wants to know. Well, he says, "Well, why did you send Eric?" She says, "Oh, well, it turns out Kurt had been seen at the house, but Callie never told me until April 5th, which is a bunch of bullshit, which we know.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Callie and Jessica had a conversation with Kurt the morning of April 2nd when he arrived. Hopper never denied that. Callie will say, "Oh, I thought it was a dream." Where have we heard that before?
Okay, Dylan, whatever you say. Right.
I was unsure if he was really in my bedroom or not, which is awfully funny because he tells Dylan Carlson that he specifically remembers speaking to Kurt. When Cobain returned to his home, he found his former nanny, Michael DeWitt, whose nickname we call Callie. So this is a quote from Carlson. I talked to Callie, who said he had seen Kurt on Saturday, April 2nd, says Carlson, adding that DeWitt described Cobain as looking ill and acting weird, but I couldn't get a hold of him myself. So not only does Callie admit to seeing and speaking with Kurt, his senses were awake enough for him to describe Kurt as looking ill and acting weird. Yet, as we're going to find out, he goes ahead and tells everybody else, as if covering for Courtney, who never told Kurt was seen at the house. Courtney never told you that Kurt was at the house because I never told her until the 5th. And then Courtney says, well, at that point, on the 5th, when Callie, I realized Kurt had been seen 3 days earlier, and Callie never told me. I didn't trust him anymore, so I sent Eric. Supposedly, Eric went to the house, and Hopper's there. Callie's not there. Hopper does run into Erlandson, but not Kurt. They don't search the greenhouse. Basically, Kurt was at the house on the 2nd. Callie and Hopper claim that they never told Courtney until the 5th. And then because they never told Courtney, Courtney claims that she sent Eric there on the 5th. And this is Courtney's reasoning for sending a third party to the home to look for Kurt. Callie DeWitt and Jessica Hopper even later claimed that on the 5th, they got into an argument with each other on whether Kurt was an apparition or not on the second. Hopper saying no, he was really there, and supposedly DeWitt saying, I thought it was a dream. I didn't know that was really him.
I want to slide in here real quick if it's
Go
okay.
ahead.
So the truth here, okay, because what he's reading is basically what Courtney's version of this, okay?
Yeah.
Everything has to be always. Courtney sent Eric there. Dylan was already knew, okay? In my opinion, this is my honest and humble opinion. It was stated already that when they found Kurt, that it looked like there had been other people in the room with him, at least 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I believe there were 2, and I believe this is Dago's opinion. I can never prove this. Okay, I believe that the 2 people that were in the room with Kurt were Eric Erlandson and Dylan Carlson. That's my opinion. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe this is why. Okay, Courtney knew Kurt was there. Dylan knew Kurt was there. And she sent Eric there as well, in my opinion, to make sure that things happened the way they were supposed to, because she knew that Dylan was a drug addict because she fed it to him. She also knew that she couldn't trust in these people because they were all the same. This is what I believe happened to Kurt. Okay, truly and honestly, folks, in my heart, this is what I think, and that's her account. Everything that's been put out, she has ensured the world that she will sue you if you do not put it her way, because the world knows what she did, in my opinion. Okay, that's the truth behind this story. If I can be honest with you guys, honest to God. So I just wanted to slide that in real quick.
Yeah,
you got too twisted with it. So thanks.
Yeah. So there's a lot of covering up here. Very unusual because we know Hopper has a totally different story, saying that we tried calling Courtney. Courtney was aware that he had been there, and she's never questioned. None of these people are really questioned. All the inconsistencies, all these coincidences, and these assholes are never questioned. Why?
Because Courtney paid everybody off.
Right.
Yep.
So now Tom had been asking since day one for Courtney, as I said earlier, to pay the expenses for him to move the investigation to Seattle. After all, it's much easier to find somebody as a private investigator if you're in the same city that they're in, right? Makes sense. She denied him every single day up until after we know Kurt had died. Exactly. So here we have a woman who's playing with her husband's money. Who's a millionaire, does not want to pay for Tom to go to the same city that they know he's in. This is something that has never happened in Tom's career, that somebody wanted him to find someone but didn't want him to go where they were last spotted. Does that make any sense?
He wanted to make sure he was dead.
It's a joke.
Went there, right?
Right. Then it gets, and she's canceled his credit card, and apparently in the 90s, they see data systems were much more primitive. When you cancel the credit card, the only thing they would record really was the purchase and the day that they tried to make the purchase. It didn't really tell you the city, the state, and the business location and all this other info. So only that it was declined, and for the amount of money it was declining on what day it was declined. So couple that with the fact on April 5th, Courtney Love went from ranting and raving any chance she got to Tom Grant to being very quiet. All of a sudden, she's so quiet to the point where the next day on April 6th, he goes to her hotel room to see if she's disappeared, and he notes that Courtney seems very calm. She's not her crazy, ranting, frantic, normalcy that she usually does. Now
he knew Kurt was dead. That's why.
Right. Tom takes the next flight to Seattle, but by the time he gets to SeaTac Airport, he rents a car, catches up with Dylan Carlson, who Courtney has told him to get with. It's after dark. Not only after dark, it's raining. Right? Because they're in Seattle. Seattle is always very rainy, right? So Tom meets up with Dylan. They go to a diner. They sit down. They discuss where Kurt could be. Where does Kurt hang out? Let's go check out all the usual spots. So this conversation with Dylan is the first time that Tom Grant learns about the fact that Kurt likes to disappear into the Aurora Strip, which we've mentioned previously.
Right.
So while in Seattle, while he's in Seattle with Dylan and they're driving around, he mentions to him that Courtney said that Kurt only likes to stay in the best hotels, and he was almost incredulous. He practically laughed and said, "That's ridiculous." He hates fancy hotels. He stays in really cheap places, mostly along the Aurora Strip. As we covered last week or a previous show, he liked us apparently that room 226.
Right.
He also expresses to Dylan all the concerns that Courtney had. This is where Tom's thoughts go from suspicious to actual concerns. Dylan starts contradicting what Courtney's saying. So Dylan's saying, I don't know, he says he doesn't know why Kurt married her and that he's actually miserable. All they ever do is fight. Tom asks, is he suicidal? Why would you buy him a shotgun if you knew he was suicidal? Dylan reassures him that Kurt is not suicidal. He never mentioned suicide to him. This thing in Rome, did anybody say that he may have been trying to kill himself? No, it was an accident. So
Dylan was having little flashes of reality and guilt, in my opinion, because he knew, okay, and he couldn't stand fucking Courtney, folks. He couldn't. Okay, there's that too. So, and that's why Courtney paired Dylan with him, thinking that, because she controlled him, that Dylan's gonna take him on this wild goose chase, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Not gonna do this, not gonna do that. And I think this is my opinion again. I think Dylan, his guilt got to him. Okay. And it started to bother him, and I think he couldn't, I guess, hang on, per se. And anytime she would get him back, she could get her claws in him. She'd get him shot back up full of dope again, so on and so forth, and keep him, under her foot. This is how exactly this all went down. It's almost disgusting. It is disgusting. Right. So, that's what I think happened was Dylan's guilt got to him. He knew the truth, okay? And he couldn't stand her. Maybe it came back and smacked him around a little bit in his mind and said, I can't believe I did this type of shit. You know what I mean? So that's my opinion again.
And then some more stuff about the shotgun. Okay. They had a recent burglary at the Lake Washington house. Mm-hmm. There had been people walking up on his property trying to peek in windows, paparazzi trying to get pictures of his baby.
Yes.
And he wanted to get a gun to scare people away, most likely for protection, protect his daughter, obviously.
But
Kurt grew up. Yeah, go ahead.
Kurt had many guns though already, so that's
right. That's true.
It's always bugged me a little bit. I'll say
that. That is true.
I'll just say that. Go ahead.
Yeah, he was very familiar with guns, and so if. Like a little bit from his childhood, his actual first guitar came from his uncle, but his first really good amp, a vintage PV, actually came from a pawn shop after he hawked his stepfather's guns.
Yep.
So it had something when he was 17. There was a thing that happened. Basically, his stepfather threw a bunch of guns in the river, and Kurt knew where it was, and they got the guns. Sold the guns, and that's where it went out to there to get the guitar.
Right.
One moment, we have another
go ahead.
gift.
Yep.
Thank you,
boy, Brandon. Thank you. I would love to know Dago's opinion on the divorce being filed. Certain people know it was in motion.
It was absolutely. It was. Kurt was leaving Courtney no matter what. The attorney. Mm-hmm. I still think, again, one more thing. When Kurt contacted, some of this we'd have to go backwards with, but I told you guys when we talked about Rome, I think that Rome was Courtney as well. Okay, I think that was the first attempt at her trying to take his life was in Rome. She was there with him.
Definitely.
And she's the one that planted the seed about him being suicidal. She was in the room with him. She said she woke up and he was out. In my opinion, Brandon, she did this, okay? She knew because he had called the attorney when he was in Rome, said he's leaving her. take her out of the I'm done. Like, I'm done with this woman. Because that's when he had figured out that she was sleeping back with Billy Corgan, sorry, and it was just like the final straw. She was trash. He knew that. She did this all the time. She was always cheating on him, doing this, doing that, so on and so forth. All that happened. So she had contacted the attorney when he was in Rome. I'm sorry, he had. And I think she knew about that. Okay. And I think that's where this comes into play at. So all of that plays out. And the divorce was happening no matter what. They were done. Okay. That was end of story.
Mm-hmm.
So that's as far as I can. Yeah. She tried to take his life there and it didn't work out. Okay.
Right.
So she tried to play the hero in the world's eyes. I saved Kurt. I did it. It was me, you know, all that. She's a bad actress too, by the way. So, all of that, folks. And that's what truly happened, in my opinion. So then, because of that, she planted the whole he's suicidal thing. That's the narrative she started building right there, because she planned on taking him out the whole time. She just had to get him to do it. Yeah. That's why when I said earlier that she sent Erlandson and tried to get Dylan to do this, which I think those two were in the room with them.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yep.
Okay.
I do too.
Yeah, 100%, Brandon. I do believe it was absolutely in the works. Yeah. And Courtney got her claws back into everything, and she made it, you know, sound her way like she always has. So that's
I think she was also at the end there in super panic mode, and that's why the day he died and the day after, she was so calm, because she finally it had all played out. It's over, and now she's gonna be rich. Yep, and had all the control.
100%, Logan. She had control. That the weird calmness, because I remember hearing Tom Grant tell that in an interview, that she was very strangely calm on the stick. Mm-hmm. She knows
it should be the opposite.
Yes,
you should be panic that now your other half is gone, the father of your child.
Yep. Right. Yeah, right. She knew she had control of everything at that point, and that her career, because if Kurt would have divorced her, okay, we talked about this early on.
Yeah.
If he would have divorced her, she's done. That's it. Her career's gone. Her money's gone. Her life is gone. With what life she had, it's all gone. End of story.
Yeah.
Which is why we'll get into down the road. I do believe that Kristen Pfaff is dead too. That's another story.
That's a whole other avenue.
Yeah.
The only other leverage she would have had then would be Frances Bean, which wouldn't have been enough for her.
And that's why she had to. No. I think Kurt was going to take Frances from her, and it very easily could have done it because of her lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, JJ. Do you have anything to add to any of this, JJ? Do you agree, disagree, or any thoughts on this at all?
Yeah, no, I pretty much agree with all of that. I mean, the thing that always jumps out at me talking about this type of stuff is, you know, we're musicians and stuff, and some people I know in the chat are, and they're diehard music fans. But there's always the stuff behind the scenes that the public doesn't know about at the time that's going on, just like the Kristen Pfaff stuff.
Right.
Back then, nobody knew about this stuff until after.
Right.
And when you have somebody like Courtney, who's, we all agree, very manipulative and very good at it, she knows how to get people to do fucked up shit for her. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
she's not just getting people to do like errands for her. She's getting people to do, I mean, all right. I'm going to say allegedly, right? I believe she did, but she's getting people. I mean, this is what we always talk about. What are the chances that two people in that same orbit both die mysteriously within 2 months of each other? Oh, and by the way, those two people, like what one was saying earlier, those two people were like supremely talented and may have been interested in each other and had a career themselves. Because I know I've read that Kurt had told people he wanted to start a band with her.
Dave knew that too. Dave Grohl knew that. Okay.
Yeah.
One more problem.
So like my whole thing is I can't help but to look at like these people like Erlandson and Dylan and Callie that were all in. There were her little pawns that she used to do things. And when people are dependent, if they have drug issues, they're not always thinking clearly, right? Like it's just a reality. So what somebody will do that may be depending on another person to get drugs or connections to drugs is probably a lot darker than what people would realize. And
Yes,
anybody who's, knows addiction and that stuff, people that are addicted do some dark shit.
very much so.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
like that's a part of the puzzle that just always jumps out at me. It's like she was pulling the strings, like we said, like a puppet master. And who
Yep.
knows what she was able to get people to the lengths that she was able to get people to go to.
Unending.
Nothing
Right.
hits price.
Unending.
And
Yeah.
that's just it. She was, to Logan's point earlier, she was smart in her own way. Maybe not musically or couldn't write lyrics or anything, but she had her
Yeah.
own set of smarts,
Clever
so to
like a
speak.
fox.
So
She's like a puppet
yeah.
master. She's
And
a
I'm-
puppet
I'm-
master.
I'm gonna throw one more
Yep.
surprise little piece of info into this, which will probably square this off for everybody if you don't understand or know this. With all the stuff I've read on this, which is so much, okay, I believe, and it is believed, that Kristen Pfaff knew what actually happened to Kurt. Okay, and I almost think it's a rumor that there was a confrontation between Courtney and Kristen, and that Courtney said something to Kristen, and Kristen knew for sure right then and there what
I
actually
can
happened.
believe that.
And that
Yeah, I can believe that.
is probably what became the ultimate demise of Kristen Pfaff,
Right.
to be honest with you, okay?
Probably. Yeah. I
Honestly.
could believe that. Yeah.
It makes
Yep.
perfect sense, too. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay, you want to go ahead on?
Yeah. We're almost
One more?
at the I'm getting to the we're gonna talk about the suicide note. We're almost there. So he goes. So Dylan says he went with him to purchase a weapon. He purchased a 20 gauge shotgun with birdshot. It's called light load. It literally pepper sprays its targets. You can shoot someone at relatively close range, 15, 20 yards. All it's going to do is kind of burn their ass. But it's not going to kill you. Of course, at short range, it could kill you, but that's not the purpose of a 20 gauge. If he really wanted to kill himself, he would have purchased a 12 or 16 gauge shotgun. Kurt, again, this is what he's claiming. Kurt was very familiar with weapons. He knew what he was doing with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he says if he was suicidal, why would she let him buy a shotgun too? He's not suicidal. So he bought the shotgun the day he went to rehab. There's a burglary at the house recently. The police had just confiscated his other gun. So Dylan registered it in his name. Trust me, if he was suicidal, I would never let him get a shotgun. I bet my bottom dollar that any man when watching this who grew up in a rural area, especially if they grew up on the farm, if you grew up in the country, you know what I mean when I say man is expected to protect his family. Once you have a baby, one of the first things you're supposed to do is get a gun. It's like a rite of passage. So, and Kurt came out of a rural area. We know that. So this would have been ingrained in him.
Mm-hmm.
I have a daughter. I need protection. He gets a gun. Now, Kurt we know he was a huge fan of the Beatles. And look, he always claimed that. And we know what happened to John Lennon. People in the 90s, we've alluded to this, were beginning to call Nirvana the new Beatles, Nirvana mania, just like they called it Beatles mania. Kurt, being a huge fan of the Beatles, would be thinking, oh crap, I'm being called a spokesman for a generation. So is John Lennon, and look what happened to him. Lennon, like Cobain, made himself very accessible to fans. And we know Lennon was shot by Mark Chapman right outside his apartment building. So, and I believe it was the Dakota apartment complex in Manhattan. Mark Chapman comes up to John Lennon with the latest Beatles album, and Lennon autographed it for him. Later that night, after returning from a recording session with his wife, Yoko Ono, Chapman had been waiting for him. shoots him right outside of his home. Where were these? Now you have these people bothering Kurt Cobain right outside of his home. There had been a burglary, people trying to get into his windows. So I'm sure Lennon's assassination would have been on his, mind. He's thinking protection. Dylan reinforces that. So now it's late in the evening on April 6th when Tom Grant finally hooked up with Dylan. They did go to the house. Dylan doesn't show him the greenhouse. They search the house. They, of course, do not find Jessica Hopper because Callie sent Jessica Hopper away earlier that day. Callie himself is not there. He's been making himself scarce since the 4th, one day before Kurt is dead. So it's just all very strange. You think about it. Michael, Callie DeWitt, and Jessica Hopper, who were supposed to be on the lookout for Kurt, looking out for his well-being, and very content in their own little world, doing their drugs inside of Kurt Cobain's house the entire time that Courtney and Kurt are gone. But all of a sudden, right around his death, they make themselves scarce and vanish. After searching the house, they go to the diner. They discuss where Kurt could be. They check a few motels, and they call it a night. So it's worth mentioning, during the week of April 2nd to April 8th, the Seattle Police Department had went to Kurt's house twice and not searched the greenhouse. They probably didn't go inside the house. There were workers, probably a landscaping company that was contracted to take care of the grounds. There were workers outside. The police probably asked the workers if Kurt had been around. They said no, and the police left.
Hang on a second, Wilma. We have a gift here. Is this yours, Logan?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think.
Thank you,
Bianca Jane. Thank you.
Bye,
Awesome,
turtles.
Bianca.
Awesome. Thank you for the gifts.
Thank you.
So the police left. They probably didn't bother knocking on the door. As I mentioned before, Jessica Hopper leaves on April 6th. Suddenly, later she says that she had been really sick those last couple of days in Seattle. So this is a keynote too. As you know, usually people who are very, very sick don't necessarily go on an airplane and take a trip. They wait to recuperate. Callie had just called her a car from the limo company that Kurt was known to use, sent her to the airport, and away she went. Only one day after, we know Kurt died. No explanation. Callie just says, "You're leaving today. Adios." There really hasn't been a day since Tom Grant met Courtney Love that something suspicious didn't happen. But later, Tom will find out a lot of things about April 7th that really don't add up. The first of those being that of Callie leaves. Courtney herself called Callie a ride. Supposedly, Callie's job is to be a live-in nanny to the house and to house it when her and Kurt are out of town. But suddenly, she sends Callie away. She'll later claim that Callie went to rehab and she gave Callie $35,000 for rehab. There's a lot of questions that we can have here for Dylan and Callie, especially Callie. They spent more time at the house than anybody, from that week. So now we had Tom Grant had recorded a phone conversation about how if her and Kurt got a divorce, she's going to lose her publishing deal with David Geffen Company, and she's going to have more money problems. But all of a sudden, she's claiming she has money problems, right? But she so easily can give money for rehab, $35,000 worth of money. What happened to the money problems? If we're going to believe that she had nothing to do with this, one day before Kurt's body is found, she should be expecting a divorce, right? You wouldn't be spending all this money. So she's telling Tom she wants a divorce.
Back then, that was, that's a lot of money by today's standard. But back then, that was, you know, you're probably by today's
Yeah,
standards, probably like at least $100,000 for, you
right,
know, that kind of thing. So that's a big chunk of change.
That's
right.
I know in LA and California and stuff, things are much higher cost wise, but 35,000 for rehab in that day. I mean, I remember in 2012, it was less than 30,000 in Chicago. So that was 3 decades, you know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
lot of money for
Sound
Yeah.
rehab.
Yeah.
smells fishy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So she's telling Tom he wants a divorce. Yeah. Oh, I see we got Amanda gifted a membership. Thank you, Amanda.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda
Great. Thank
B.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Nice job, Amanda.
So she's telling Tom he wants a divorce. I'm gonna have money issues. I'm gonna probably lose my publishing deal. He's not going to be there to tell his people at David Geffen to release my record. Shouldn't she be expecting money problems? But it doesn't seem to me like she's expecting money problems on April 7th when you're giving away $35,000 to a nanny. Now, whether he
We have
actually
another gift.
went to
We
rehab
got
or not,
gifts
no.
galore
Oh,
tonight.
I see. Frat boy Brandon,
Brandon.
$9.99.
Brandon and Bianca are
RDA
on
and
it
CHEP.
tonight.
Yeah,
I
I'm
want to know
telling
what
thank
you,
bank they
they're
robbed.
just
Thank you so much.
throwing out the dollar bills.
Woo, woo.
Right. So these medical files are not public knowledge. We don't know if he actually went to the rehab or not. It's very interesting. So, or how long he would stayed there. What we do know is on April 7th, Courtney calls him a car, takes off, doesn't come back, and he's got 35,000 in his pocket. Now comes the evening of the 7th. We got more strange things happen. Tom and Dylan are out scouring more hotels, going up to the clerks saying, "Have you seen Kurt Cobain? Have you seen him?" Dylan decides he wants to check in with Courtney. He calls Courtney from a payphone, and there's some drama with Courtney back in LA. A little, we're not going to go into that whole thing, but she concocted a whole story there with things. But the interesting thing is, Tom realizes that Courtney has begun speaking through Dylan and giving instructions to him through Dylan. Courtney cuts off communication. I'm going to call Courtney and check in. So Courtney always wanted to go through Dylan. She wanted to talk to Dylan on the phone and have Dylan give Tom these instructions. Now, later, Rosemary Carroll says when Dylan called Courtney from that payphone that night, she heard Courtney specifically tell Dylan, make sure he checks the greenhouse. This is something that the attorney for Kurt Cobain tells Tom Grant later on. Courtney's instructions are to go back to the house, and there's a secret compartment where the shotgun may be. This event, when Tom goes back to the house, they do not find the shotgun, but it sets off another series of events that raises even more suspicion. It's almost as if Courtney Love thinks that she's being really smart, and she's actually leaving a breadcrumb trail right back to her and Eric and Dylan and Callie and Hopper. So first things first, they enter their home. Right on the staircase is the infamous note left by Callie DeWitt, in which she says, "Oh man, Courtney's so worried about you. She's freaking out. You're an asshole. Why haven't you contacted her? I can't believe that you've been in this house without me seeing you." Well, that's interesting because Callie claims from the 4th on, he had made himself very, very scarce. He was constantly gone for hours on end. So if that's true, why would you think it's weird that you and Kurt did not cross paths? Are you telling us that you weren't constantly gone for hours at a time, that you were in the house 24/7? The thing is, Tom finds some roofies underneath the mattress. They take the sheets off the bed. They flip the mattress. They turn the pillowcases inside out. They do a number on this bed, right? They completely wreck it. They find the roofie pills. Later, Courtney Love will insist that Kurt Cobain left her a second suicide note, meaning he would have had to have left it the night of the 4th or the morning of the 5th. Kurt left her a note under the pillow on the 7th, the day before Kurt's body found. Tom ripped that bed apart. There was no note there. He catches Courtney in another lie. Kurt could not have left a note after Tom ripped the bed apart. This was mentioned to Rolling Stone about another note that was left. It's like a letter, and it's not really a suicide note. It was more like it was sealed envelope, and it was just like to me. It seemed like he wrote it in rehab. Where did you find it? It was in the bedroom under my pillows. Under your pillows? Yeah. And I didn't tell anybody about it but Rosemary. And I told Sergeant Cameron about it. So I let him see it. There's only one problem that Courtney says is that she's saying all the stuff, but Tom Grant looked under the pillows, just like he looked under the mattress, and there was no note. So
Thank God he recorded.
I know.
So I mean, so
Right.
many of their phone calls and stuff, because
Right.
otherwise, I mean, this all
It's
sounds
hard to
like
prove.
nobody
Right.
would
I know.
believe
Right.
if he hadn't. So you
Right.
know,
So that note wasn't under your pillows on the bed. Even more, Rosemary Carroll will also come forward and tell Tom on the night of the 6th and the 7th that Courtney was at her home when she talked to Dylan on the phone. And she left a backpack at Rosemary Carroll's house. And inside that backpack was a notebook and random loose papers where it was obvious she had been tracing and practicing Kurt Cobain's handwriting. Maybe maybe did you just come over again? Yeah, that's fine. There's some stuff I want to show you. That was said to Tom Grant. I don't know. I got some stuff. I just left at the house. I never really thought to look at it. So she left it after she came over to my house the night of the 6th. Rosemary Carroll was working with me behind the scenes, privately giving me the information. She did it out of good conscience. This is what Tom Grant was saying. But what do you think that it is? I think someone went through his notebook, found passages that could plausibly be cobbled together to a suicide and traced them. You think that they were traced? Yeah, forged or something like that. And then she asked, "Are you taping the calls?" Yeah, I taped my call. So as Robin just said, thank God he did tape. Thank God he was taping this stuff. Some of the stuff, like you wouldn't believe it.
yeah.
The next morning on April 8th, Vika Electric, responding to the phone call Courtney Love had made the previous day, her call for service to have those security lights, cameras, and alarms be put up around the greenhouse. They answer the call. They come to install everything she has ordered, and Gary Smith, the electrician, finds Kurt Cobain's body, and that's where we end. So that is the timeline of what went on. So now we got some stuff we're going to talk about. As Robin has for the suicide note.
Well, what I have was going to take longer than what we have time for
That's
tonight.
okay.
So,
What time do we have?
well, we can go ahead and get
We could start. We
started.
could finish it. We could finish it off. And we had to finish the timeline. So
I have time if you guys do. It's up to you.
Okay. All right. So
yeah.
let me.
Yeah.
This is kind of what I did was kind of a more interactive thing so that we can kind of show the notes, some inconsistencies. So we have more of a visual type thing. So let me see if I can.
I also put the note backstage for you that I have.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
In case you want it.
I see. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, now I have to share my screen.
Not yet. Thrive Off Grid. That's going to be down the road a little bit.
What's that?
Thrive Off Grid asked if we brought up El Duce yet, and I said not yet. That's going to be down the road a little ways.
Okay, let me know. Can you guys see?
No.
Let me
No,
add it to
I
the
see it.
stage. I always
No,
do that.
Yeah.
I always forget to add it to the stage. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Now, all right.
Thank you,
So,
Brad.
Just
And
yeah. Just sorry, Robin. Just there's a donation there.
appreciate that, Brandon, very much. God bless, brother. Very grateful.
thank you. That's
Thanks,
awesome.
Brandon. That's so great.
Very much so.
Okay. All right. So this is, of course, the note, and I'll zoom out just a little bit, but I wanted to kind of do a little bit of comparison with some other handwriting of Kurt's and so forth compared to this the suicide note. Now, one of the things that first raises concerns about the suicide note is there's no date. So we don't know exactly when, this may have been written. Okay. It could have been maybe during rehab, during a depressive episode, but at the time he was not suicidal, as Dylan has stated,
No.
that he
Right.
didn't believe that he was going to, kill himself. The next odd thing we have is the fact of who this was written to is Boda or Boda. I'm not sure which way to
Oh,
pronounce that,
Boda.
but
Photo.
Boda.
Yeah.
Okay,
Boda.
so Boda was Kurt's childhood imaginary friend.
Hmm.
Now, he didn't address this to, uh, anyone, quote unquote, real, uh, which was odd. So that if you're leaving a suicide note, some people do address it to someone, or sometimes it's not addressed to anyone. So it was odd that he would have addressed it to, a childhood imaginary friend.
Right.
It's almost
So
like he's looking at it as like a second identity of himself.
Yes.
And he's
Yeah.
talking
yes,
to his childhood friend almost as if he's just talking inside his head, but putting it
Yep.
on paper, his thoughts on paper, rather than a suicide letter to somebody.
You're pretty
Right.
on point. You're on point with that, Logan.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and about the first 90% of the letter, pretty much is almost like he's saying goodbye to music or to the industry. He's
Hmm.
tired of the fame and fortune because it it's just more of a trap to him than anything. Someone that was as sensitive and artistic and articulate as him, I think he was really just being worn down by all the trappings of the industry. He just wanted to play music. He didn't,
Yeah.
and
He never
poor
wanted all
example
the
or anyone
stardom.
down.
You're right. Robin's absolutely
He,
on. He never wanted to be the star that he was, folks. Period.
And
I don't-
Robin, he wrote stuff all the time like that. Like I have his book journals, that book.
yeah,
Right.
Tons of scraps of paper from hotels and wherever. He was always writing
Hmm.
little entries and things like this on random pieces of paper, and that's, in my opinion, that's how that reads to me.
Yeah. Right.
yeah. I mean, you've got this stuff that's scratched out here, and so this wasn't anything. I mean, if he really wanted to leave a legible letter, he may have even rewrote it or typed it or something. But so this is more of a creative document. I know myself as a writer, I like to write by hand first and then go to the computer
Yes.
second. So
Yeah.
my notebooks and stuff, that's what these look like. I have notes to myself and you name it. So I totally get that, so
Yep.
I don't
um
know
and
if
then he in the letter he expresses guilt over losing passion for the music, and he feels like he's just been kind of going through the motions, phoning it in. These are not things that are put in a suicide note. I mean, this is something that someone is saying to me, like he's trying to reinvent himself. Like he's on a journey, and he's realizing that he's at a place where he doesn't really want to be musically, as well as, you know, personally maybe. And it seems to me like I read this as someone who is, he's kind of going into a cocoon and he's ready to start coming out as the butterfly. That's what this letter says to me.
And
And in here, you know, his references to suicide are pretty brief. It's not like he's saying anything like, kind of like super sharp, so to speak. You know, what do you guys think of that?
I go ahead, Logan. You were going to speak a few minutes ago.
So just real quick, I wanted to say, I don't know if any of you have ever seen a suicide letter or written one yourself, but usually they're either, you know, in one note written out, and there'll be a certain spot for each person that meant something to you, or there will be separate notes. And never in a letter that I've ever seen or anything like that has there been a mention of a career almost fully through the letter. Usually the career isn't mentioned at all, or it's very small somewhere in there at the end.
And
this is not a
now,
suicide letter.
With your expertise in that, Logan, I mean, you would maybe, it sounds to me like you have had some experience with these types of note, maybe in person, unfortunately.
Yeah. Several. Yeah.
So
I mean, career is never. Now, nobody that I knew or had any association with anything like this of being a famous musician or anything like that. But even then, I don't think that's what somebody who's going to unalive themselves is what they're thinking about in their moment. They're thinking about the people that are going to miss them and that they're going to feel guilty for hurting.
Yep.
Right.
And
my
opinion is that this is, okay, going back to what JJ said about Kurt was well known for, like, a lot of musicians and poetic people, we'll say, are well known for writing things as they think them right there. Whether it be on a napkin, a piece of toilet paper, an envelope, a scrap piece of paper laying around. You think something, you have to write it down. He did a lot of that, okay? He did a lot of that. So, and he had journals. He had different things that he wrote in. My best guess with this, when I went through, because I really analyzed this a lot over the years, I think they took writings of his, put them together, and said, this is a suicide note. Okay, somebody did. I'm not saying who did it. I can't tell you exactly who did it. I have my ideas, allegedly.
Right.
But and that could very well be.
Yeah, and like Robin, I think Robin and Logan both come together and gave the answer to what this truly is. Okay. In my opinion, in my opinion, okay, I even had my wife, because, you know, the psychology side to her stuff, she said that's not okay, it's not a suicide note. Here's the thing. The notes on the side of this point out things that I just noticed that are absolute. Okay. One of the paragraphs there says, no direct farewell to Dave Grohl or Chris, even though the emotional climax of the note is about artistic identity, not death. Now, if you were saying goodbye to people that are very important in your life and have been, Dave and Chris would have been in there somewhere, I'm going to guess. Okay. They would have said, you know, something like Logan said, you know, I'm sorry for what has happened, this, that, or anything else. And it doesn't read that way. Okay.
No.
So I'm just, that's my opinion on this, as well as many more other things we'll get.
And I think there would be, I would think there would be like a giant paragraph with him saying something to his daughter.
Of course.
You know, especially his mother.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, it's only the last few lines. I mean, she doesn't come up in this really until kind of, you know, and I mean, like it says here, you know, he lovingly writes about his daughter, yet also emphasizes how happy Francis would be without him. I mean, those two things don't go together.
Not at all.
You don't you know, speak lovingly about your child and then say, but you know, I love you, but you'll be better off without me.
Nope.
I mean, not in this kind of way. It's I mean, he didn't even really get to have, I mean, she was so young. He didn't even get to have all those joys, any kind of that
Nothing.
development of a relationship enough to a point where she would have even remembered, because she was what, like 18 months old, I think it was at the
20,
time.
20
Right.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Okay.
was.
So I mean, in her mind, I mean, it wasn't like she was even 5 years old, where she had a more concrete idea of her father and memories of her father in her mind, that,
Right.
and she would have been absolutely devastated if she had been that old when this had happened. So
And
that's not something you're going to say to your 20-month-old little girl,
no, and he
is that you'll
knew
be better off without me,
Kurt was very
you know?
intellectual too, and he knew that she wouldn't understand something like that.
Nope.
Therefore, in turn, he's not going to write something to her. Not to mention, he knows Courtney. Okay, he knows
Right.
Courtney. He's not going to write something. He knows that Courtney's not going to give this to her. He knows Courtney's not going to read this to her. He knows all of that. Okay, he's never going to leave something like this in the hands of somebody such as Courtney Love to do something like this. Okay, and you can
Right.
notice looking at this, guys. Also, not to throw that out, but there's multiple versions of penmanship in this. Okay, not
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
one. This was written, in my opinion, by multiple people. I'll just put it
Right.
that way, with different
Mhm.
handwriting. Okay, we all
Yeah.
know that there were handwriting practice sheets found in Courtney's bag, blah blah blah, so on and so forth.
Right. Right.
But again,
Yeah.
if you look at this, like you scroll it up and down, there's multiple versions of penmanship in this. Once
Right.
again,
So,
a big red flag.
and that was a good segue, Dago. Okay, so
Yeah.
here's where our
Yes,
kind of interactive type thing kicks in.
Yeah.
So
And this is
here
so
we
weird.
have.
it is very.
So we have, here again is a copy of the suicide note. Over here is the practice sheet that was found in Courtney's bag. So over here on the right. So, you can see it looks like somebody was practicing.
Yep.
And
That's sick.
and I'm sorry.
That's sick.
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
it
It's
is.
such a weird,
Yeah.
like, it's such an odd thing. Like, who would have like a practice sheet?
Thank
Who
you.
Who
It's
takes
so
the
odd.
time to try
Yeah.
and do this to somebody and ruin so many lives that loved him so much?
Right.
Yep.
I mean, the calculating. She had to have, or
Yeah.
is. I mean, she, like, truly, really a psychopath. In my
This has her all
estimation.
over. This has her written all over it, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
I
her
mean,
personality. Period.
yeah.
You
So I
you
mean,
can even
I'm sorry,
you
Logan. Go ahead, honey. I'm
you
sorry.
can even see in the letter in some spots, the one that was supposedly written by him, where you can see someone like writing and they're trying to get the letter right. You can see the start
Yep.
and stop in
Yep.
certain letters as well.
Good catch.
Yeah.
Very good catch.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is
So
so sick.
So
yeah.
sick.
Yeah. And so I mean, just to see the two, like, I mean, when I was going through, I'm old school. I printed them out and I'm looking at them side by side, and I thought, all right, I wanted to convey this so that everyone could really see side by side exactly what was going on here. And it is just sickening to know. And who says this was even the only one that she did? You know, how many sheets of paper did she go through
Right.
practicing?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know. So then what I did was I thought, okay, let's take and now these are little excerpts from Kurt's journals. Okay. And I wanted to kind of, because everybody's like, oh no, he wrote it. The mainstream media, here we go, folks. Mainstream media says, no, he
Yeah.
wrote this, and
Of course.
But if you look at this, like, let me see if I can blow it up a little bit better for you. Okay, if you look at these, and Kurt had very distinct handwriting over here in his his journal. He had extremely distinct. He was a heavy writer. like this looks to me like he pressed a lot, or I mean pressed hard when
Yes,
he was writing,
very much so.
as some people do, and it does not match to me. I mean, what do you guys think? Just looking at this, what do you guys think? His journal stuff over on the left compared to the letter.
You can look at the angling of it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
somebody that writes a lot, and as somebody that writes lyrics a lot, I do.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have a standard. I call it like the lean, your handwriting
Yeah.
lean, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the letter on the right, it's all leaning to the right. Okay, it's all headed to the right. Look at the stuff on the left.
Yeah.
It's right there, straight on, right in front of you.
Yep.
There's no draw to the right. Now understand something too. That's very important in this, in my opinion. If nobody knows this, Kurt Cobain was left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you know anything about left-handed writers,
Yep.
right there you go, Logan.
Yeah.
Look at the writing on the right one more time, and look at the left. There's nothing about those that match to me. Nothing.
There's no dragging of the ink by
Nothing.
a
Yeah.
left hand.
Thank you. There you go. I was waiting for somebody to call that. Thank you. Because a left-handed writer, like Logan did, they write this way. So when you write across, you're pulling ink with it, and it's going to smear, drag, all that shit, guys. My aunt's been a left-handed writer her whole life, and it drives me nuts because every time she does it, if it's not with a pencil, even with a pencil, penciling it'll blend it and smear it. Okay.
Yep.
And the lean on it would be completely different. So that's what I'm saying.
Yes. Because my brother, now he's lefty, and he doesn't write straight up and down like Kurt did.
Right.
But he leans to the left.
Mhm.
He leans completely opposite of the supposed suicide note.
A lot of them do. Right. You are right.
I've also heard that there's a correlation with that, and if you're like an optimist or a pessimist type of thinking as well. I've heard there's a lot of correlation with like your mood, your thinking, and the direction your letters turn.
Oh, that's interesting. I never heard that before. Oh wow, that's.
Well, I could tell you, I'm a schizophrenic writer, man. Because if you could look at different notebooks that I have, and like. It depends on my mood. My handwriting will be completely different. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, you're Mr. CIA. So.
Oh, that's what it is.
Oh, you guys didn't hear that, right? That I'm in the CIA, right? That's a secret.
Yeah, you're the CIA. Oh my God. Now, do you guys ever just quick little side note, just of interest? I tend to write half cursive, half printing.
I do that too. I do that.
Okay. I thought because like I'll start out cursive, and then halfway through the word I might switch to it's weird. I don't know why I do that.
I do the exact same
I feel
thing,
better.
Robin.
No idea why I do it, but I do it with everything I do. It's insane.
A hybrid, yeah. Somebody in the chat just said that it's hybrid.
Yes.
So yeah. Thank you. Yay! I'm not alone. Yay. Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to pull these up and. Just to kind of show you, and we've all talked about how artistic Kurt was, and I mean, just look at the handwriting here in the. I love this. Oh, and our last and final name is Nirvana.
He was very intentional.
Yes, and just how artistic that handwriting there is. I mean, really. Some people might not see anything special there, but just kind of the way that he did it, I thought was pretty neat. The way that the S is shaped in the word is, and just the way that he did the block letters on Nirvana, and I, as someone who likes to doodle and things like that, I totally get it. And then you look over here on the right. Do you guys see anything artistic in this handwriting here?
Nothing at all. Nope.
No.
Not at all.
To me, the
No.
way he put the block letters on Nirvana means he took time on writing that, which means that is important to him.
Bingo.
Absolutely.
Bingo.
Absolutely.
Damn, you're good.
Yep. Yep. It was definitely intentional. Definitely. So,
Like I said, you guys are on point with this tonight, for real.
But the non-smearing of the ink is a huge deal, though.
Big
It
time,
really,
yeah.
really
Yeah.
is.
That's why
And
I
I mean-
pointed that out right away.
on the letter, okay, the like I said, supposed suicide note. Look at how things are scratched out. Okay, just
Yeah.
this ugly old line. But over here on Kurt's, journal entry, it's all kind of squiggly, like little loops, like little circles. He didn't
Mhm.
he didn't just, you know, and
Right.
so
Right.
it's just there's no compare. I mean, just as lay people, okay, I'm not a handwriting expert, but just looking at these, I don't know how anyone could think that the person who wrote the suicide note is the same is Kurt. Even as you age, sometimes yes, your handwriting can change, but it's not going to completely change like that
No,
unless
and
you
when
have some kind of injury.
bingo, yes. And when you look at both letters, okay, when you look at the one on the left, you can tell when he's stressing something or he's expressing excitement over something because he over exaggerates and over accentuates it. He writes heavy letters. They're darker, they're bigger. There's none of that. This is all over here on the side is all uniform the same way. It's written different penmanships in my opinion, but there's nothing over there that he's, if he's stressing something, I would imagine because he did it over here with his other stuff and in his journals, he would stress it. He would make it darker, bigger, more bold. None of that is in this right-handed letter at all.
Yeah.
Right.
If you look at his
Right.
lowercase m's, the one on the left, his have a very specific first line down.
Yeah.
And then you see the humpback.
Yes.
There is no first line down on the M's on the right hand side. None of them.
No,
Another good guess.
because like here, right about the middle, let me just blow it up. You're talking about the M's, Logan, where it says crime. Look,
Yep.
look at that M. I mean,
It's a
there's
hump.
no
There
right,
is no
it's
line
just
down
hump.
first. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no
Exactly.
definition of the M itself. It's just a real quick.
No.
Right. Good
Right.
catch.
Yep.
Yep. So
Well,
There again.
One of the things I wanted to say, is, obviously, I think we all know that this is very suspicious, this note, but because like I said, I have his book journals, and I've looked through it a lot and stuff, and he's kind of like me. It seems like he writes differently at different times.
Yeah, the mood, whatever the mood
Yeah,
is.
and so I'm not 100% sold that the most of that note, the alleged suicide note, wasn't written by him, and then somebody else co-opted it and used it as to add things to it. Because if you're in a depression,
that's one of the
or you're in a he by all accounts probably relapsed after that, and he might be in a dark state of mind, and at least I know for me that can affect my writing. I definitely don't think that was a suicide note, but just from his writing is different in a lot of stuff, man. It's kind of wild, like how I relate to it because it seems like whatever his mood was, he wrote. His style of writing was a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yep.
That's a good point. It's a good point to note.
And then, here's just another example. Now, in this one, now this is again from the one on the left is again from his journal. This one has a little bit of a right lean, but the lettering is still too large. It's still too close to the above example there. So it's still does not look like the letter here on the right. It's still too similar. Most of it is up and down. compared to the one on the right. But then we get down here to the bottom. Now, this over here on the right, this was written in this script that's by Captain. This was written by one of the police, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
From so that we have to kind of discount that. But the rest of this, it still does not look like his handwriting.
That definitely doesn't.
No, it still doesn't. So you've got so okay. So say the most of this is written. The suicide note is written by the same person. Well, who came down here to the bottom and scribbled all this stuff? So, do you have two different people? One of
Yeah.
the theories out there is
It's
that
crazy.
Courtney, listen to me. Courtney essentially dictated this to Callie.
Yeah.
But even so, did Callie only write a certain part of it and then somebody else came along and finished the rest of it?
Can you scroll up, Robin? I
Yep.
wanted
Tell
to
me when.
see the top of that note because it looks like the first part of it. Like if you go to the very top of the Kurt's note,
The suicide one?
yeah, the alleged suicide note.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't it look like to you guys that that first section is very different? Like, it's like
Yeah.
it seems like I don't know. It just kind of looks
That's what
like
I'm saying. How many people wrote this note? Like how
I'm
many
telling
different
you, it looks like
writers?
at least three different handwritings to me. That's my opinion, but
Yeah. I mean, you have this. Was this line indicating where they wanted someone else to take over or something?
it's interesting that you said that. I was wondering like how it was written and like
Was it a
by who,
was it
obviously.
a
But yeah,
copier?
like here's what I can do. You do your part, and then you do your part. Like you know what I mean? That's what I wondered.
Yeah.
It
Because
does look
then
like
down
it's two or
here,
three different people.
Yeah.
yeah, because then down here, look here again. It looks almost like someone was trying to create another line
Yeah.
Right.
right across the page.
Right.
You know? So I really found that fascinating to think that people, and then here again we have this other heavy line, and then we come up with these last
Right.
Right.
four
Yeah.
wacky lines. So how
Right.
many people wrote this damn thing?
It makes you wonder.
Not Kurt.
Yeah. Callie,
Not
Eric.
Kurt. Who knows? That's just it.
Yeah.
Because you had Callie at the house, you had Jessica at the house. You're talking about Eric now. I mean,
Yeah.
Dylan. Who knows? That's. I just found that really fascinating. And then this is just the last thing I kind of had. Oh, whoops. Sorry,
Am I
guys.
too loud, you guys?
No.
Somebody said somebody was obnoxiously louder, so I just wanted to make sure.
We
you're
got
a little bit louder, but
a little
not
bit.
crazy loud.
We got another donation from Frat Boy Brandon, $9.99. Not my
Holy
thing.
cow!
Not everyone will agree, but Bad Bunny was great tonight. Kurt would be proud. I can't stand Bad Bunny, I have to say.
I
But
can't either,
need,
unfortunately.
need
But
to love more and hate less in the world.
absolutely.
Thank you for the donation, and I'm glad
Yeah.
that you enjoyed it. At least
Thank
someone
you.
enjoyed
Yeah.
it.
Thank you very much,
Boy.
Frat Boy.
Thanks, man.
Very much appreciated, brother.
And then there's just two other things I really had on this. This is a little scary, but this was also in Kurt's journal, just showing his
Nice.
creativity artistically wise.
Wow.
I mean, yeah,
It's a
not
pretty cool
everyone is
picture.
into this type of thing.
That's
But
Eddie. That is Eddie from Iron.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Eddie.
Yeah.
I don't
That
think
is
I
Eddie,
could.
Eddie
I
from
don't think I
Iron.
could. Yeah. Even if I tried, I couldn't make that.
yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, I mean, I draw pretty good, but not like that. So I mean, just his level of artistic ability, was really cool. And then I don't
Right.
know if you guys are aware of the potential of why won't that go up? All right, fine, you'll come down. There was a letter to Chris, I guess,
Yes.
from Kurt. It's in a book, a 2008 book called uh, Cobain Unsent or something like that.
Yes.
Are you guys aware of that one?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm aware of this letter, yes.
Okay. What do you think of it, Logan?
I think it was written to him, whether it was a joke or him just thinking out loud or whatever it was. I'm not exactly sure, but I think he wrote this.
Well, what I was just going to say, because if we take this over and we put it, this whiteboard thing is wild.
I don't think it was anything like recent though.
No. But I mean, a lot of the lettering, even if this one over here on the left is a heavier handwriting, you can still see a lot of similarities just in the writing itself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I
You
thought
know, like
that was
Joe said too, though. I agree, and I have to agree. Like Kurt was a very emotional person, and like with his writing would show his mood,
right,
if that makes sense.
right,
Yeah, you kind of
right.
you can kind of see that. So
Because there's
Right.
some things in the journal book that I have, and then I'm like, damn, he writes like one thing will be super neat, and then another one will be more like scribbly.
see, those two match to me in some ways.
Yeah,
Especially the way it
'cause-
looks like the Chris one or Christ was written with pencil, and you can see the lead smearing. So to me, it looks like a left-handed. But I'm not sure what the intention of that was. If he was joking or if he was just thinking out loud or what it was.
Yeah, I don't know either. But I just thought it was interesting to look at the two pieces that you know, because Nirvana here in the Chris letter is very similar to the way that he does Nirvana. Oh crap, where'd it go?
I think it's up more.
I gotta zoom out.
That whiteboard is pretty neat, though. I like that.
You know, it's very similar to down here. The way that he did the Nirvana
right
down here.
Yeah,
where thicker and capitalized.
Very similar. Yeah, very similar. The block lettering. Block lettering to me seemed to be something he favored a lot, and I tend to see that more in men than women.
it's an artistic thing too. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true. So, but
yeah, men do that a lot more often, I think, than women. I agree with you.
Yeah. So but so you know, and I can't understand how anyone could possibly think that suicide note was written by Kurt.
I just don't. I don't know.
Or that it was even written by the same person at all.
That I definitely think.
And then the other big thing, right, is the other note that he apparently wrote that was destroyed.
Right.
You know, another thing
Courtney
too, he could have had some stuff laying around that he might have been expressing these thoughts, and then somebody was like, all right, we're gonna sort of take that narrative and we're gonna write it into this note and turn it into you know, and make it like a suicide note. But you know, I'm certain that wasn't meant to be a suicide note, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
Do they ever say if the suicide note was supposedly written before or after the injection of the drugs?
I don't know.
It would have been before, I think. Nobody ever said, I don't think. But there's no way in hell that could have been after the drug induction.
Right.
No.
It just depends what his tolerance was at that time, to be honest.
Well, no. Listen.
No.
The amount of drugs that they found in his system that's one of the main reasons why nobody believes he shot himself, because the needle was found capped afterwards. Logan, it was enough to drop like in a horse. You know what I'm saying? And it's not anywhere near, even tolerance wise, like it's like a lethal dose.
It was like
Yeah,
225 milligrams or something total in his system.
Yeah, that's.
Which was like what, 5 times the.
I think they said 3. I think it was 3 times.
Three
the
times.
amount.
Yeah.
I think it was 3 times the normal amount.
And he had
That's not
benzos in his
uncommon
system
for
also.
addicts, though, that use regularly 10 times a day, $200, $300, $500 a day. There's a lot of
Right.
people that have a high tolerance like that, and that's just normal for them.
I've
That
never
doesn't
seen anybody take
Really
that much.
play
at one
any
time.
part for me.
Well, his
They
to-
like
his
to
to-
throw
his
out those
tox-
numbers, like 3 times the amount, 10 times the
Right,
amount.
right.
It just depends on somebody's tolerance. It could be 400 times
Right.
the amount, and if that person does that much every day, then it's not going to affect them.
Well, I think it will also depend on what time of day you took it, because the needle that was found, he had supposedly, just taken it right before shooting himself. Now, at the rate that when you would plunge that into your vein, it would take effect like within seconds.
Right.
So there's no way he was going to be able to position the shotgun correctly at the way that the shotgun was, and we can get into that like maybe next week.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah.
I do agree with a
you
lot
know.
of that, but for me, it just depends what his tolerance was at
Yeah.
that time. It really does.
Yeah, I get that.
yeah,
He also
But-
had benzos in his system too.
Right.
He
Right.
was taking he had a bunch of different things, or several different things in his system, and
That's why the whole Rohypnol thing being planted there is what got Tom Grant like funky, because once again it's her trying to say, look what he was going to do, or look what he would be doing. You know what I mean? That kind of shit.
mhm,
Yeah.
So
yeah. So
I believe he was
But,
forced. All of this stuff was forced on him, and he was.
Right.
I don't think he took the injection of heroin himself. Personally, I just don't. I think somebody injected him, and
yeah, I would
Yes,
agree with that.
from what I've seen, like experience wise in EMS and stuff like that, with people that have overdosed and stuff, the number has always disturbed me. And I know obviously you have some experience with some of this stuff, Logan, that maybe I don't have, but the high dosage amount is something that like he shouldn't have been able to, from my understanding and my experience. Like I said, just me personally, he shouldn't have been able to cap the needle, set it down in the bag, take off the whatchamacallit, and then pick up a gun and level it at himself the way he did and pull the trigger. Because
He'd have time to cap the needle, put that down, maybe take a step or two. I mean, it's probably about 30, 45 seconds. So he would have
Right.
time to cap the needle and put it back. But as far as like walking to get the gun in position and sit down, no, that would be
Yeah,
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
There's other stuff. So he was holding the gun in his left hand, and there was no blood spatter on his left hand. The only
And
thing
the
that
gun
was
was in the-
recovered, the only thing that they found was a blood smear on his thumb.
right,
He
and
should
the
have
gun
had.
was-
Yeah.
He should have had blowback on his hand. That was like a big. Yeah.
and the gun was in the completely wrong and opposite place that it should have been if he were to be the one to pull the trigger the way it was. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
They tried
Yeah.
to say some dumb shit like, because of the type of gun it was, which blew my mind. I had to laugh. I still laugh when I think about it. That when he pulled the trigger, the gun went up in the air and spun and landed over here. And I went,
Yeah.
Right.
what did you just say? No, it didn't work that way at all. So,
Yeah.
if he'd have pulled the trigger in the position he was in, like this, okay, towards himself, when he did it, the guns should have jumped backwards, not up in the air and spinned over here. Like it wouldn't have done. That's just not how that works. So
Yeah.
the whole thing is just a joke. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
there's a whole
but,
big thing too with how the blood how the blood would have went down.
Oh,
his
yeah,
face.
that's-
I was actually just
Mhm.
Well,
When
we'll get
you
into
look-
that in a later show.
Yeah,
In
when
like
you look at
another
the
show, but it's
autopsy
super
photos,
interesting. Yeah.
the autopsy photos make you go, what is this?
Right.
It doesn't match
Right.
it.
Yep.
So-
Right.
So,
Because I
but,
was actually reading. I was reading something that there's almost kind of like a theory that is that he may have actually been shot somewhere else. He
Yeah, I
may,
read that
he
too.
may have
Yeah.
been shot somewhere else, and then the body was carried over. You know,
That's something else that
Well,
was a theory that he was brought in there because of the way the blood was
on
inside
his
the greenhouse
clothes
and on his clothes.
and his
yeah.
clothes. Yeah.
yeah.
And it was something.
So-
And it was something to do with, just real quick. Sorry, something with his what was it, like his underwear, and how it was like riding on his thigh,
Yeah.
that they could tell that he was being dragged. But
Yeah.
go ahead,
So-
Robin. I'm sorry.
But no, oh no, that's all right. I was gonna say I know that that's gonna be a whole
Crazy.
other
Yeah,
episode
yeah.
because there's tons to
Right.
get into
Oh my
with that.
God.
But
I know.
Wait till we
But,
get to the autopsy shit, because that is what completely finished it for me. When I saw that, I said, "There's no way in hell, no way, just no way." So
no. Yep. So
I think,
But,
I personally think that Kurt was already deceased by the time the gun, and I pray that this is what happened by the time the gunshot happened. That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to stick
Yeah.
with that because it makes me feel better, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But based
we
on
can
what I-
hope.
yeah, and based on what I thought I understood about the drugs and stuff, that he was
Yeah.
gone already before that
But
happened. But
right.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I could definitely be wrong.
No, yeah. I mean, they
Well-
list. I mean, it was labeled a suicide before they even got the results back. From any
that's-
Yeah.
It's a whole
we
nother
heard that
thing.
kind of thing before.
Well, it doesn't help that Courtney was friends with the ME on that one either.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
gotta love it.
So
Did
well,
you guys?
guys,
Did you want to read the note? What was in it? You want one of us to read it, or do you just want to wait on that?
let me.
Yeah, you should.
You want? I'll read
Not
it.
too
if you
long.
want.
Yeah, you should. You should read it.
Yeah, I
just-
just had to find it. I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
well, let me go to the next thing.
Yeah, I have it here too. It's up to you. Whatever
Okay.
you guys want to do.
So it says to Bada, speaking from the tongue of an experienced simpleton who obviously would rather be an emasculated, infantile complainee, this note should be pretty easy to understand. All of the warnings from the punk rock 101 courses over the years, since my first introduction to the, shall we say, ethics involved with independence and the embracement of your community, has proven to be very true. I haven't felt the excitement of listening to as well as creating music along with reading and writing for too many years now. I feel guilty beyond words about these things. For example, when we're backstage and the lights go out and the manic roar of the crowd begins, it doesn't affect me the way in which it did for Freddie Mercury, who seemed to relish in the love and adoration of the crowd, which is something I totally admire and envy. The fact is, I can't fool you, any one of you. It simply isn't fair to you or me. The worst con I can think of would be to rip people off by faking it and pretending as if I'm having 100% fun. Sometimes I feel as if I should have a punch in time clock before I walk on I walk out on stage. I've tried everything within my power to appreciate it, and I do, God, believe me, I do, but it's not enough. I appreciate the fact that I and we have affected and entertained a lot of people. It must be one of those narcissists who only appreciate things when they're gone. I'm too sensitive. I need to be slightly numb in order to regain the enthusiasms I once had as a child. On our last 3 tours, I've had a much better appreciation for all the people I've known personally and as fans of our music, but I still can't get over the frustration, the guilt, and empathy I have for everyone. There's good in all of us, and I think I simply love people too much, so much that it makes me feel too fucking sad. The sad little sensitive, unappreciative Pisces. Jesus, man, why don't you just enjoy it? I don't know. I have a goddess of a wife who sweats ambition and empathy, and a daughter who reminds me too much of what I used to be, full of love and joy, kissing every person she meets because everyone is good and will do her no harm. And that terrifies me to the point to where I can barely function. I can't stand the thought of Francis becoming the miserable, self-destructive death rocker that I've become. I have it good, very good, and I'm grateful. But since the age of 7, I've become hateful towards all humans in general, only because it seems so easy for people to get along that have empathy. Only because I love and feel sorry for people too much, I guess. Thank you, excuse me. Thank you all from the pit of my burning, nauseous stomach for your letters and concern during the past years. I'm too much of an erratic, moody baby. I don't have the passion anymore. And so remember, it's better to burn out than to fade away. Peace, love, empathy, Kurt Cobain. Francis and Courtney, I'll be at your altar. Please keep going, Courtney, for Francis, for her life, which will be so much happier without me. I love you. I love you.
Now, can I point out a couple things in this that really stood out to me big time?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's back up to, and I want you guys to remember something we talked about not a long time ago, but with Courtney herself. Okay, this is why I believe that she took part in this as well. Where the part where it says, where'd it go? The thought, I can't stand the thought of Francis becoming the miserable, self-destructive death rocker that I become. That's not who Kurt was. Okay, not at all.
No.
But who does that sound like to you?
Sounds like her.
There's that
Yeah.
part. Now, one more point that's pointed out when they throw the age 7 in here. Okay, Joe, do you remember what age it was that Courtney, quote unquote, started to become the evil person she is when she was given LSD? I think it was.
I think right around that age.
Thank you, sir. So, guys, you guys know
Yeah.
what is it called? The word's slipping my mind right now. When somebody projects, there we go.
Yeah.
When somebody projects themselves into something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. I'm just those two things right there. I've read this letter about 17,000 times. Okay. Just trying to break it down. And from what I've known of Kurt Cobain and his songs, and you just gotta try to put it in the mindset. Okay. Those two things specifically jumped out to me like a field goal kick. Okay. And then down at the very bottom at the end, you guys, where it says, Francis and Courtney, I'll be at your altar, and please keep going, Courtney, for Francis. Those, again, in my opinion, to me, it feels like Courtney trying to glorify herself, projecting herself.
I agree.
And she wanted people to think that he was still in love with her and was saying nice things about her.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
So those things in this letter jump out at me very highly. And I think, in my opinion, those are the things that Courtney allegedly, I'll say it nicely, projected herself into this with, if this is what it is. Okay, I'll just say that. That's how I see this.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys have anything else to point out in this, but those things really, really, really are like, oh my God, there she is. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
just saying.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a couple other parts to it, but I'm not gonna delve into it. There was down here. Thank you Thank you all from the pit of my burning, nauseous stomach for your letters and concern during the past years. He didn't have that problem anymore, you guys. That was gone. That had been gone.
Right.
Yeah, he had said it had been over a year since he had a stomach problem.
So to me, that statement came from somebody that had no idea that Kurt was no longer going through that.
Mm-hmm.
Or forgot.
Yeah.
Let's say, or forgot. I'll put it that way. So Anyway, I'm
Yep.
sorry. I didn't mean to throw that in the end. I
Oh
forgot about
no,
that.
that's all right.
No,
I
I
love
thought the
that
exact
we
same
can
thing.
bring all these perspectives together, you know. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
No, I was thinking that exact thing when you guys were going through it. I'm like, well, he didn't, because we talked about this. He had in a public interview said they asked him about his stomach, and he's like,
Yeah.
man, they got me on the right medication, and I feel great.
Felt better than he has felt in a long time, he
Yeah,
said.
I think he said I feel better than I felt in years. So
Yep.
like, you know, that's just more horse shit.
And then once again, I think I have a goddess of a wife who sweats ambition and empathy. Are you serious?
Huge
Thank
eye
you.
roll.
Thanks for writing that, Courtney, because that's exactly what that is. I'm so once again,
Yeah.
here I am. See me?
Mm-hmm.
God, she makes me
Yeah.
sick. Jesus, she makes me sick.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are my thoughts on the letter, folks. And those are the things, in my opinion, that tell me that he didn't write this either. That didn't come from him, in my opinion. None of it.
No, not knowing what, he was planning on leaving her. Why would you write that to someone that you were planning on leaving?
Somebody
My
that's made
God.
your
I
life
mean,
as miserable as she's made his life. Somebody that has made you, instead of standing behind you as a spouse, you care enough for somebody and they have a drug issue, you want to help them get through that if that's what they want to do. She wanted to do the opposite of that. She wanted to keep him high. She wanted to keep him that way so she could control him, and she couldn't handle that at all, in my opinion. And that's that. There it is. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I agree with Joe to some aspect in this. I think some of this stuff does sound like because I read some of the. I don't have it like you guys do with the book, with the journals and stuff, but I have pieces that I've read of his journal. And some of that stuff sounds like his writings and stuff of things that he would express himself with. But
right.
that's what it sounds like. Somebody took that and melded it into this, what they call this letter. That's all I'm saying. So,
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Yep. So, okay, well, we have a very exciting announcement for those of you who do follow this case, or if you're still new to this case. You may recognize the name of the YouTube channel, American Spy Fox. Charles, from over there on that channel, he has graciously agreed to be a guest here on the show. I'm still working out details with him as far as whether we are going to do a pre-recorded show or whether it is going to be a live show. We're still working through those details, but it will be one way or another next Sunday. So keep in touch with all three channels, kind of, so that we can keep everybody up to speed on what exactly is going to go on. I'm just waiting for Charles to get back to me. So we are super thrilled. Charles has done extensive research into this case, and we're just super stoked that he is going to be joining us. So
Yeah, it's amazing.
yeah. So if you do not follow him, make sure that you do, because he is just absolutely tremendous. So just cannot say enough about him. The years that he has spent putting effort into building his career as an investigative journalist. He does a lot of, he does Kurt Cobain, but he does a lot of other rock groups, kind of rock history, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
super interesting guy, intelligent guy. He's going to be having a documentary come out soon. So just super creative guy. He also is a musician. So just super excited for him. So yep.
Yeah, I think he's currently covering kind of the Epstein stuff, so just like a little
Yep.
crossover.
Mhm.
he put like a 10 or 15-minute video out a few days ago, because our great, love of, our great person here, the person of the show, of the hour, of the 2 hours, Courtney Love, is seemed to be showing up in the Epstein documents here as some kind of trafficker. So what a surprise.
Yep. And I'm just putting the link to his channel there in the chat. So, oh, thank you, Amanda. She's already on it. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I should have known. I should have known. The amazing Amanda. So, yeah.
That's true. That is true.
So, yeah, definitely got to check him out. And show his channel some love. So we, just cannot wait. So details forthcoming. Just like I said, waiting for him to get back to us. So, but yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much. As always, it's fantastic hanging out with you guys, and we'll go around the horn here. Let me get rid of this off screen. There we go. So we can go around the horn. How about we go Logan, Dago, Joe, 1-1, and then I'll close us out.
Thank you guys for being here, tuning into something new that I'm doing. You guys know I want to branch out and do other cases other than just Idaho. So I appreciate everybody for showing up today. Thank you, mods. Thank you for all the gifted. And thank you to the panel for having me. I appreciate all of you. I am going to jump off now, though, because Bronx has to go potty really, really bad. So everybody have a
All right.
wonderful
you.
night. Thank you for
Have a
having
good
me.
night, Logan.
Take
Thank you.
care.
All right.
All right.
My turn.
Your turn, sir.
My turn. Thank you guys once again, as always, for joining us tonight, especially on these Sunday nights. I always enjoy this. I have a bit of a passion for this case, obviously. I just love it, and I know what my thoughts are, and you guys know what my thoughts are. I've more than thrown it at you many times, so thank you for putting up with me. As always, I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you, Logan, for joining us again tonight. Thank you to all the moderators, all the amazing people in all three communities. You guys are all awesome. We appreciate you all so very much. Thank you to the advocates here for having me again. And I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow night. You guys have an amazing rest of your night. God bless and good night.
Okay. JJ.
Well, this is my last hurrah for Sunday nights, unless I can
Yeah.
hopefully get on with if we do a pre-recorded
Yeah.
with
Yeah. We'll
American
try to
Spy
figure something out.
Fox.
Mhm.
But it's been a really interesting thing to dig into, because the grunge music scene was a big part of my life.
Mhm.
And it was a big influence on me, both just as a person and as a musician. So talking about this stuff, I feel a connection to it. And so I appreciate you guys including me in it, of course. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully I can sneak in on the episode with it's Charlie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie. Yep.
But yeah, thank you guys. Thanks to the Den, the Meatballs, and all the mods, and of course the panel. I appreciate you guys. I'll be back tomorrow.
All right, great. And
Thank you, Joe.
1-1.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, mods, all the mods. Definitely on our side, Amanda, Essie, and whoever, all these Bianca Jane, all the mods from all the shows, Denizens, Meatballs, Bronx Tales, True Crime, all you, the panelists. Robin, great info on the suicide note. Great info from you, Dago. Great feedback from you, JJ, as always. So I will leave you with a movie quote to continue my tradition here. This is not very difficult. You guys probably will get it pretty quick, but here we go. Gomer Pyle, do you think I'm cute, Private Pyle? Do you think I'm funny? then wipe that disgusting grin off your face. Well, any fucking time, sweetheart, Private Pile. I'm gonna give you 3 seconds, exactly 3 fucking seconds to wipe that stupid looking grin off your face, or I will gouge your eyeballs and skull fuck you. 1, 2, 3.
Full Metal Jacket.
Oh,
Yeah, very good.
Great
Classic.
fucking movie.
Yeah,
Great
Classic
movie.
sorry, never
scene.
Yeah.
saw the movie. Sorry.
Oh my God. That's a
Oh boy.
Stanley
Thank you,
Kubrick.
great, awesome movie.
I don't know what to tell you about that.
Legendary movie, Robin. You got to watch
Oh.
that one, man.
Okay, all right. On your recommendation, I will.
Yes.
I will
In
watch
You,
it.
fact-
I
you
will
gotta
watch
go
it.
watch it.
It's
Yeah.
a,
In
it's
fact,
a
the,
classic, man.
Right.
It's
In
a
fact,
classic.
the actor who plays Private Pile, he's he's played so many roles. I can never say his name.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
That's
Vincent
it,
D'Onofrio.
yeah.
Oh,
He
love
plays
him.
on
Yeah. He's
Law
amazing.
and Order.
Law and
Yep.
Order.
Yep.
He plays Kingpin on Daredevil.
Yeah.
Like, he's in a
Excellent
bunch
show.
of stuff.
Very,
Yeah.
Bunch of stuff,
and he's
but-
very eccentric too. He's a very eccentric actor.
Yeah.
Yes. So
But that was Arlie Emery. It was just amazing. That. I'm sorry, but he was.
I've seen that movie so many times.
Me too.
man.
Me too.
It's such a good movie, man.
Wow. I've done that thing in my head 1,000 times.
Yeah, Matthew Modine is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Got an
really,
all-star cast too. Yeah.
really, really good.
yeah. Well, thank you, gentlemen, so much. Logan, I'm sorry she had to run up, but hey, I know what that's like when they've got to go. They've got to go. There's,
Oh yeah.
So thank you guys so much. Joe, we are going to work very hard to make sure that you are going to be able to be there with Charlie. So don't,
Yeah.
No,
we're
I
gonna
really
try to make that
appreciate it.
happen if at all possible, sir. So, and we have loved having you. And when your gigs change again or whatever, of course, Sunday nights you got to come back, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Don't make me come looking for you.
The Sunday
Yeah.
gigs only go till like mid-April.
Oh, all right. So
The
we'll get you
Sunday
back
gigs.
then. Okay.
Maybe you
we'll get
can
back
join
on
us
Sundays. Okay.
If I get my way and we get to cover Princess Diana, maybe
No, it's high.
maybe you can join
It's
us.
high
AJ.
on the yeah. It's high on the
Yeah,
I'll
sir.
be, as
It's
soon
high
as
on the list
my
there.
Sunday gigs go away, because the seasonal type thing,
Gotcha.
I'll be back to my normal stuff.
Excellent.
I really do want
Excellent.
to cover that, you guys. If you're not catching the hint,
Yes.
I want it
Yes,
back.
Oh no,
that's-
it's that.
Yeah.
It's definitely.
Yep.
I don't. I
Yep.
just know.
It's
I
happening.
just know. Yeah. I just know like some basic stuff with it. I don't know
Oh, there's
crazy
a lot.
amount. So I'm
Yeah,
I'm
there's-
super interested to dive into that. So
Yeah.
There's
So-
no doubt in my mind that was not an accident, folks. Just so
Nope.
you know.
Nope.
Not
Yeah.
even a little one.
Nope.
Dark
Yeah.
shit, man.
So-
It's
It
some
is.
But
dark
yep,
shit.
we'll get into it. So,
yeah.
but everyone, thank you so much for coming out tonight.
Yes, awesome, as
You know,
always.
all three communities, we appreciate all of you so much. Whether you're here live, you're on the replay crew. I have no idea what's happening with the Super Bowl. I don't know. Hopefully for Seahawks won.
Yes, they
Okay,
did.
thank you, Essie. Essie says Seahawks won.
They
So
did. They
yay
did.
for Lee.
I'm surprised we
and
can't
for all
hear him
the
screaming
Seahawks
right now.
fans.
Right.
Yeah, he's probably like, "Whew." So that's great. So will you guys have a good night? Now he is on vacation this week. I know he's hoping to pop in sometimes, you know how he does. So hopefully we might get him. I don't know. But we will be here, same bad time, same bad channel tomorrow evening. 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 p.m. Eastern, and wherever you are in the world around that. But we will be here discussing some Idaho 4, maybe some Luigi. We have the, Mickey Stein's case. So we've got tons and tons to talk about. And every day new stuff's coming out. So who
Yes.
knows what's going to happen tomorrow to be talked about tomorrow night. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, right. So everyone have a wonderful night. Stay warm out there if you're in the way of all this cold weather. And as Logan would say, be kind to your animals. So good
Bros
night,
and
everyone.
Bros and hoes.
Frozen
Bros
hose.
and
yo.
hoes.
That's right.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Good
guys.
night.